I have traded one co-host for another. Heidi Glaus here with Josh Gilbert today. Bob Ramsey had a little surgery. He should be back tomorrow. Connor McCarthy, however, is still hanging with us. And before we get to what is coming up on the show today, I just saw something and literally laughed out loud. On social media, it says, can we all agree that Gen X wouldn't be caught dead in one of these dorm room makeovers? We had a milk crate, a stolen street sign, and whatever poster was on sale at Spencer's. And I can so relate because I had all of those things.
So I had the cinder block particle board TV stand well into my 30s.
Oh, so did I.
And it wasn't until my wife moved in with me. She was my girlfriend at the time. And we move all of the stuff. Heavy. She buys heavy stuff. You know it's expensive if it's heavy.
That's right. It's real wood.
It's going to
last.
Yeah. She buys all this heavy stuff. We spend all day moving it in. I'm exhausted. It's 9 o'clock at night. And she goes, can you move your cinder block TV stand out to the dumpster? So
dumpster.
Now I'm hauling
go ahead and take that to the trash.
4 or 5 trips of cinder blocks down the stairs after moving all day.
Yep.
But I had a Reservoir Dogs poster.
I was going to ask, did she make you take the posters off the wall?
I didn't have posters. And we didn't really have artwork.
I had a Winona poster, which is probably surprising to no one.
No one else.
Thank you.
You still have that, though, right, Heidi?
No, she has the toilet. She's got the toilet.
I've got other things.
Winona's toilet from her home renovation.
I'm trying to think of what else
I had
poster-wise.
Clockwork Orange poster, Reservoir Dogs poster. And it was the Mizzou poster sale at Memorial Union every the first week of school every year. So you'd stock up on posters. What else was there? Was a third thing in there.
The street sign. And I had one because I was at William Woods and I did not steal it. It was down. So I just
picked it up,
but it was Route WW. Seemed like it was fitting.
William Woods. I had a yield sign.
Okay. So this is so on brand.
Did you find that one on the ground?
No comment.
Okay.
That's good. That's good.
Is it still an active case?
Yeah,
okay.
I told you that we got in trouble from the boss years ago when we talked about our shoplifting experiences.
Yes, which
Josh, let's not glorify criminal activity.
Okay.
So I will be tight-lipped on where that yield sign came from.
We will just assume, right?
I've got a friend now whose son loves street signs. He's like a street whiz. Like he'll say, hey, Mom, you're coming up on Sappington Road. You're probably going to want to take a right, and go down Big Bend and cross over. So I was like, I got this yield sign in the garage. So I gave it to him.
I bet he loved it.
I think it's hanging above his bed.
Yeah.
So.
Very funny. Well, let me tell you what we have coming up. We're going to talk to our favorite professor of linguistics, and we're talking about how the upper and lower class speak differently. And I'm wondering, is this just about education? Are we talking about incorrect grammar? But we'll talk to Valerie Friedland about that coming up here at 3:30. We'll also check in with ABC News Deputy Political Director. The latest primary results, kind of shocking, but we'll get the latest and what all of this means. We'll talk about how the midterms are shaping up. Then in the 4 o'clock, Lauren will be here. And I think this is a really fun topic. We're going to talk about what is charming and what is outdated and how do you know what to keep and what to get rid of. And I immediately thought, going back to my first house that didn't have the cinder blocks, had a lot of really cool arches, stained windows. That just, to me,
was
felt
it
really
in South
charming.
City?
It was in St. Louis Hills.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had the little, I don't know what the actual term is it for. I think it was a lot where a lot of people would put their statue of Mary, the little cutout in like the hallway or the doorway or the mailbox that is built into the house where you just pull the
slot down.
Yeah. So fun.
I always wondered how that worked with insulation. Because in my old house, we had the archway. I thought it was for a phone, but that's where Mary goes.
That is my take on it. I know some houses even had a little holy water.
Oh, for the little dip.
Yeah.
You just come out of the kitchen and say Hail Mary.
Right.
But that mail slot, kind of open the door from the inside. I could stick my whole hand outside, shake the mailman's hand and grab.
I always wondered, if you had an extra long arm, could you reach to the door? Because it's not too far away. Like go gadget.
I've never seen them that wide though. We had one when I was a kid, but it was real like skinny.
No.
Even by the time I was like a
mine you could have fit a small box
You
in
could put
easily.
packages
Yeah.
through this. I could get my whole arm.
Heidi,
outside.
you couldn't even really fit your hand halfway
this
through on the one I had.
This is different. Real quickly, going back to the college dorm room, Superfan Aaron said we had a slow children at play sign in our college room, as well as a West Haven swimming pool sign, which we thought was the coolest thing ever. Somebody else, regarding the street signs, the high schoolers in Gasconade County, Missouri have parties that entry into the party is to bring a street sign.
Now that's going too far.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You got 50 kids showing up.
You're not going to have any street signs left.
All of a sudden, the Gasconade Streets Department.
Yeah. Speaking of streets, a really interesting conversation that I'm looking forward to. We're going to talk to the author of The Big Roads, the untold story of the engineers, visionaries, and trailblazers who created the American superhighways. Our interstate system is turning 70 this year. We've talked a lot about the Mother Road, Route 66, celebrating 100 years, but the interstate system is celebrating 70. And there's a lot to know and a couple of myths that we're going to bust coming up. That's in the 5 o'clock hour. So hopefully you guys will hang out with us here. You know what today is? It is the eve of our big 550 KTRS radiothon for St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer. And that means that today you can bid on the big 550 KTRS Ultimate Sports Package. This is an auction item that has a little bit of everything. If you are into sports, this is something you want to think about right now. It's valued at $1,500, but we've got 2 tickets to next season for the Cardinals opening weekend game. We've got 2 tickets to a 2027 Battlehawks game, Ambush game, SLU basketball game, Mizzou basketball game. We've got Blues regular season, and you are 8 rows from the ice. Also, the Mizzou football home opener this year. 2 tickets to see St. Louis City SC, who's on fire. And this one might be my favorite one. 2 tickets to this Sunday's final round of the BMW Championship at Belle Reve. So,
are you going to try to get there, Heidi?
I don't know. I might, because it's going to be exciting.
I want to go just to get some swag.
Yeah. Oh, going in those shops. It was crazy last time the PGA was in town. But you guys, I think our current bid is $3,000 for all of these tickets. Of course, the money all goes to a great cause, St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer, and they don't discriminate when it comes to helping a particular cancer. It is all around, and we'll be telling you all about it tomorrow. But if you want to bid on this ultimate sports package, you can do that right now on the text line, 84126, what your bid is, and we'll see if you can beat that 3,000 for the next 3 hours.
Current bid's at 3,000, and you get to go to dinner with McGraw and the gang in the morning.
I think that's only if you bid during his show, though. Did he offer that all day?
This person bid for that show,
Okay.
but the gentleman, the nice man who is bidding on this, said that if he gets outbid during our show, he'll spend $2,000 donation to St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer just to go to dinner.
Wow.
With the morning show crew, which includes Captain Paul. Paul, here, turn Paul's microphone on. John Minio's, I've never been there, but McGraw said that Captain Paul is going to pick up the tab.
Oh, is that right, Captain Paul?
Yeah, I'm going to have to see if they do 0% financing.
lay away for dinner, possibly. But it'll be McGraw, Captain, Rose, and Carl. And then this lucky winner. So let's outbid him in the afternoon.
Oh, I would love that.
And then he'll pay $2,000 extra. We can double dip.
Yeah. Okay. I'm digging this, and I'm a little competitive.
You were so competitive. So you get a lot of great tickets to the sporting events. And do we have a Jeff Zufall was here? I've been out, so
I know, and I want to hear all about your trip. I just had to set up the show and let people know what was coming up.
Did Jeff Zufall mention on Monday in the Wealth Zone that the new Big Beautiful Bill incorporates a new tax carve out for donations of up to I think it's 1,000 single.
We did not talk about that, but we were talking
2,000
about,
jointly.
tips. We talked about so much. So I'm excited that we have this new show. Going back real quickly on the text line, our friend Susan said, growing up, my parents' house had the slot in the door for milk. We had milk delivered by a horse-drawn cart.
Susan, how old are you?
She's not that old.
There's no way the horses were out
somebody
there.
said we make replacement street signs for municipalities, even MoDOT. So thanks for the business, guys. I did a.
Don't thank me. I didn't admit to anything.
I guess it was a Hey Heidi years ago, and we got to go into the street department and see how they have everything organized and just how many signs they have ready to put back up when somebody knocks down a stop sign.
Really?
It was really cool. So anyway, back to you, Josh, real quickly, and what you did for your 2 days off.
Okay, so bid on the thing, 84126,
Yes.
and talk to Jeff Zufall about the tax write-off. I'll tell you about Jeff later. But we went to the lake. My brother has a lake house, brand
Lake
new.
of the Ozarks.
Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, it's a brand new house?
Well, it's brand new to us.
Okay.
It's an older house, but it's, the first year in the family. And so for my birthday, which was last Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
1 week ago today,
Oh, yeah.
we decided to go down to the lake for the weekend, and
Your siblings.
my sister and her wife and their kids and my brother and his kids and me and my wife and Finn.
That's
and it
fun.
was the 3 kids, and it was so much fun. And we spent a long weekend down there.
What are the ages of all the kids? I mean, Finn is 5.
Finn is 5. He's the youngest. The oldest is 18.
Okay.
There's a 7-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 16-year-old.
You got
and
it
an
covered. How
18-year-old.
many bedrooms does the house have?
3 bedrooms.
Nice.
Downstairs was a fold-out couch, plenty of room. And it's all you need and nothing you don't. 2 jet skis, no boat.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a boat ride from a friend. We went to Jolly Rogers for breakfast. Just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A
Was the
lot of
lake
fun.
crowded?
It was not crowded at all.
On Monday and Tuesday.
Oh my gosh. We go out Sunday night for a Sunday night jet ski.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody there.
Oh, yeah. When we had a condo, my mom and dad had a condo, and we were right at the Grand Glaze Bridge, and you could sit on our deck and just watch cars lined up getting
Just
out
to
of
get the heck
there
out?
on Sunday. It started at about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and it was bumper to bumper. So, Friday, Saturday was packed, and then Monday, Tuesday, you could go anywhere you wanted.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
We cruised over to Millionaire's Cove, which I think has been, lapped several times over by some of the other houses that have been built down there since. But saw a couple of guys floating around drinking beers on a Sunday night at 6 p.m. And I was like, they must have tomorrow off. I want what they do,
Mhm.
because it seemed like they were this is just a regular Sunday for
Yep.
them. So I don't know how you spent 2 weeks on the road going to Seattle and driving back in the RV. I don't know how you came back to work, because I took 2 days off, and it was,
I don't understand those people that say they will never retire, because I do think getting out and experiencing all of these things, and there's so much to see and do. Yeah, I'm with you. And Susan corrected me and said they had mail delivered by a horse-drawn cart. It was a typo in this. So
either way,
but she did say, sorry, I am old enough. I doubt it, Susan.
the outrage was the horse,
Yeah.
not the mail or the milk. It was the horse-drawn carriage that I had problems with. But we had a great weekend. My only problem, you
Because
could
there's always going to be one.
probably still tell from my voice, I got sick 2 weeks ago.
Is it 2 or 3? Because it's been a minute now.
It's been hanging. I finally went to the doctor yesterday,
Thankfully.
and she put me on a steroid. I told her all my symptoms. I lost my sense of taste and smell.
And she does not think it's COVID.
She does not think it was COVID. She's a week in is when I lost my smell, and she said it would have started before that. It would have started like immediately. So we had all this great food down at the lake. We were grilling and making big breakfasts and had sandwiches. Couldn't taste a thing.
So did you lose weight?
No,
Oh,
no. But I still ate.
okay. It just,
But-
you couldn't enjoy it.
You have a very dull sense of smell.
Mhm. It's
You-
really hard to get used to.
but you do have taste.
Yes.
How is that possible?
It's, you really have to have things that are a little bolder.
Okay.
Not your typical, I'm not just going to eat a scrambled egg. It's going to have a lot of spice in it. The things that are a little more bland, initially need a little extra flavor. And I probably would make it a little differently than Marsha would. So
Okay.
when I lost my sense of smell, I was doing really good starting to cook more and getting into it. And then I realized I can cook for myself, but I can't cook for anybody else because the amount of garlic
They're
and
too
other
salty
things,
or too
it
garlicky.
wasn't going to work. So
I
gave
like
it up.
Yeah. Not a thing. No, I couldn't smell a thing. I can't taste a thing.
It's really weird.
It's so weird.
People
and
think that it's a good trait, but there's so many great smells and they're tied to your memories.
Oh, the memory is tied the closest to smell. I could smell Michael Kors perfume and be 25 years ago with my first girlfriend.
Absolutely.
But my brother, sister, my wife, they said, what happens if it never comes back? And I didn't know how to answer that question.
Yeah.
Because I love to eat.
I think you have to train your taste buds a little bit. I don't know if that's even possible. I feel like that's kind of what I did. And a little bit of my smell has come back. Like I can smell, it's so interesting. I can smell like fresh roasted coffee if it is really, really strong.
Yeah.
I can smell diesel or petroleum gas.
Which is a great smell.
Yes.
I do love that smell. But like even walking out and sitting, having your morning coffee at the lake at 8 a.m., all the smells of the lake and all this is gone.
Yeah.
Do you smell that campfire? I was like, no, there's a campfire. It's just so hard to get used to. It's just starting to come back. And I can't believe how much we take for granted our sense of taste and smell.
Yeah.
So everyone go out and eat a big cheeseburger and
enjoy it.
Even the bad smells. Take a big whiff.
Exactly. Speaking of cheeseburgers, we had our own family night last night, and thanks to our good friend Big D, we had the HW Kia and the Richest Famous Burgers VIP box at I'll just say Riverport Hollywood Casino, and
who'd you see?
We saw Lucas Nelson, Willie's son, who is super talented, Avett Brothers, and Willie Nelson.
Willie? Oh, he was here?
He was here last night, and it was fantastic.
He's got to be in his 90s.
And I will say,
slow? Did he miss a step?
The beginning was a little
Was his voice shaky?
hard. I don't think his mic was on for the first song. Then they
Whoops.
came on, and he talked a little bit, but I saw him probably 10 years ago in Milwaukee at Summerfest, and it was a big difference. Yeah.
Well, but have you seen the videos of Frankie Valli?
Yeah.
And how they just kind of prop him up on stage and he mumbles through the songs?
Willie, you can make out, and it was great. And then again, Lucas's son is right there beside him singing, and he sounds a lot like him. But it was just fun. Can't tell you. I don't think we've ever, the six of us, Marsha and me, my sister and her husband, my mom and dad, have ever gone to a concert. And then to have that whole experience, that backyard, I'd never experienced before. It was amazing.
Kind of the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You're not with the band, but you get to.
No, it's in a different place. It's called the backyard, but it's actually at the front where everybody goes in.
Oh, really?
And it's AstroTurf, and they've got an old truck. They've got
food.
They've got a big bar. They have they have a big screen. So if music's playing, you can sit in Adirondack chairs and watch while you're hanging back there.
Watch the concert?
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
I'm trying to twist Darren's arm for this Sunday. Alabama Shakes, Tedeschi
I was
Trucks.
sending him videos last night.
You were?
Trucks is good too. Yeah.
So that'll be a good show. Hopefully I'll have next Monday, I'll have the same review that you do. But over on the text line, 84126. And by the way, you can call us anytime you want, 314-931-5877. I feel your pain. I had a major concussion in 2019. That's what Heidi had. Can't really smell or taste still. Everybody thought it was from COVID, but it was not. It was from the concussion. I'm happy when I can't smell stinky smells, but I miss tasting the good food.
Yeah.
Someone said, could you smell the Gulf salt water in the air? No, I couldn't smell anything. But here's the thing. I think smell protects us,
Yeah.
You smell that milk that went, pour this out. Without it, You don't know.
No.
Walk inside, there's a gas leak. Wouldn't even know.
Wouldn't know.
Wouldn't know. I was
Yeah.
starting up the grill, and I didn't know if the gas was on.
I know. Yeah,
So-
there are some really important things that smell does.
Yeah.
Somebody said felt sorry for Willie last night. Might be the last time we see him. I have to say I felt the same way. Avett Brothers were amazing. Yeah, Avett Brothers is one of those bands that if you just listen to them, like if it's on your Spotify or whatever, you're kind of like, okay, yeah. If you see them live, and I was texting this with a friend this morning, it changes everything. It's a completely different experience.
I have multiple friends from multiple different groups that they like follow the Avett Brothers around.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And I think they're going to be at the Illinois State Fair. So if you didn't see them last night,
And Illinois State Fair has got Lainey Wilson. They've got.
We talked about it earlier this week with
Ella
Amy Beadle.
Langley.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'll tell you who also has some really good things going on right now, and I'm talking about Window Depot of St. Louis. Windows are one of those things that I feel like it's adulting. Like it's not exactly like that super showy thing that you want to bring people over and say, check out my new windows. But I will say, if you have really pretty windows and they work correctly and you can open them up and get some of that fall air when the time is done, and then you close them and, you keep the air conditioning in and you keep that cold air out. Well, you want to make sure that you are working with the right company. And at Window Depot of St. Louis, their motto is "We create happy customers." So to celebrate America's 250th birthday, they're really creating happy customers because Window Depot is offering you $250 off each window and door with a qualifying purchase, which is really big. Window Depot is part of the Window Depot network. So they're able to offer you triple pane performance at double pane pricing, and then put on top of that extra $250 for each window and door. I'm telling you, this is the best time to replace those windows. The other thing that's really cool about Window Depot is they're not going to require you to place every window in the house or every window on the front. If the kids were out back playing baseball and the baseball went through the window, they'll come out and they'll just change that one window for you. So give Window Depot a call, 636-939-4800, 636-939-4800. You can also find them online at windowdepotstl.com. It is 3:33. Time to check into the John Bill Roofing Traffic Center and Captain Paul.
Heidi, on 44 East at Jameson, police activity is blocking the two right lanes and causing a slowdown back to Shrewsbury. 64 West is slow between Lake St. Louis Boulevard and I-70. In Illinois, 64 West is jammed between 159 and 255. That's where the closure of 64 West starts and continues to 15th Street in East St. Louis. And 64 East is congested between Illinois 157 and 159. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
When you go to the dentist, you actually want to be seen by the dentist. When you go to Dr. Bowen, his bedside manner is right there. That's why he's been dubbed Dr. Velvet Hands, with its teeth whitening, teeth cleaning, Invisalign, and yes, dental implants. When you go to corporate dentists, you meet with the finance person. Not at Dr. Bowen. You're meeting with the dentist himself, who can help you every single step of the way. So for all of your dental needs, including implants, Dr. Bowen. 2 locations in South County and in North County. Bowen Dental Care, or simply securedentures.com.
The 38th Midwest Salute to the Arts invites you to a 3-day outdoor arts festival at Moody Park in Fairview Heights, Illinois, August 28th through the 30th. Visitors can immerse themselves in a celebration of art, enjoy local food vendors, and a kids' creation station. Join us for new waves of contemporary outdoor sculpture exhibit in partnership with Art Village Fairview. For more information, visit MidwestSalute.com. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Discover Downstate Illinois.
Hi, it's Julie Buck to tell you about a trusted family business that I've been working with for years, Easter Fence and Deck. Chuck Easter and his family have been the go-to fence and deck company in the St. Louis area for more than 70 years. And when it comes to sunrooms, Easter Fence and Deck offers the top-of-the-line Better Living sunrooms that are absolutely spectacular. When it comes to fences, decks, and sunrooms, I would invite you to do what my family has done for years and trust the family-owned Easter Fence and Deck online at easterfence.com.
Royal Banks of Missouri is proud to be your local business banking partner. Since 1964, our team has been committed to uplifting business leaders and delivering expert guidance on their path to success. Discover how they can work with you to achieve your business goals, no matter how big or small. Call 314-212-1500 or visit royalbanksofmo.com to learn more about our commercial banking services. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Everybody knows that Appliance Discounters is the place to go for the lowest price on appliances. Well, now, Appliance Discounters has just got better. When you swing by Appliance Discounters, they have an outlet store located at 9425 Gravois in Afton. That store is filled with slightly dinged and dented appliances. They have closeouts from one-of-a-kind appliances, and believe it or not, they're priced even lower than their other 4 showroom stores. So at Appliance Discounters, you get the prices that are up to 60% off the competition. They come with all full factory warranties and rebates. Even if you don't mind the small ding and the dent, you'll save big. And oftentimes that ding and that dent are on the side and the back, and you'll never see it. So you're getting a great price on something nobody will ever see. The outlet store is open Monday through Friday from 10 to 6 and on Saturday, 10 to 5. Or you can always shop online, theappliancediscounters.com. That's theappliancediscounters.com. We'll see you there.
Anne Marie here for my friends at Black Fox Cooper, your local Anderson certified contractor. We all feel the sting of inflation. That's why putting off replacing your old windows could cost you more in the future. New Anderson windows make your home more comfortable, more energy efficient, and more beautiful, while potentially saving you money on utility bills. Black Fox Cooper specializes exclusively in Anderson replacement windows and offers a personalized, educational approach called the Window Read. Don't wait. Improve your home today. Call 314-270-1484. Online at blackfoxcooper.com.
One thing, I try to do is not think about all the money I have to spend. But sometimes it goes through your head and you think, I got to buy this. I got to spend money on that. But the money that you spent on your house is probably the biggest single purchase you've ever made. So it makes sense to protect it. And you know what? There might be things going on up top there on the roof that you can't see. Allen Roofing can. They don't even have to go up there. They could send some drones up to have a look, find out the problem, give a diagnosis, sit down with you and say, what shall we do from here to protect that asset of yours that you spent all that money on? It only makes sense, whether it's a roof, whether it's siding, tuck pointing, anything to do with the outside of your house. They will help you protect it. Find them online at aroofing.net.
How and where you grow up affects the way we speak. Valerie Friedland, our favorite linguistics professor and author of Why We Talk Funny, is back to explain. Great to have you with us again.
Always fun to chat with you guys.
So today we're talking about upper class versus lower class speech. Is this about education?
No, it really isn't. I think what it really is about is interaction. So it's just depending on who are you spending time with, what's important to you, and the kind of communities that language establishes for you.
Got it. So give us a difference in how someone that is more upper class speaks versus lower class.
Well, of course, there are some really iconic upper class accents, like the transatlantic accent I think we talked about one other time, that was sort of created by East Coast boarding schools and articulation experts. That was kind of a mix-up of New England and British speech styles that like FDR and some of the early Hollywood actors spoke with. And that had this sort of very high-class elitist sound to it. But in terms of the way people really talk, the received pronunciation, or Queen's English in Britain, is one of those higher class accents. And I think we have a few in the United States, like the Boston Brahmin accent, or even the broadcast standard, the way that we think most people speak if they're accentless. Those are sort of considered upper class accents. But a lot of local regional accents, like the South Philly accent or the Boston, wicked pizza, that Southie accent, or the Yat accent in New Orleans, those are both regional and often working class accents.
But Valerie, you can have somebody grow up in Cockney England, to become a doctor. You can have, a Southie from Boston grow up to be a Harvard professor. You can have somebody in the South be a successful lawyer, but they drop some of that, what we perceive to be lower class stuff. Why is that?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure that that's always the case. I think what you're talking about is people that tend to leave their communities a lot of times in the United States. It's less true of Britain, where class divides are much more sharp and salient within regions. But, I grew up in the South, and certainly there were a lot of Southern attorneys that sound quite Southern. Now, within each region, of course, there's sort of upper class Southern and working class Southern. A lot of that sometimes has to do with rurality and those kinds of things. But so I think, we have to be careful to say that people always lose their accent. And I think when you stay in a place, I think Trump is a good example. He still sounds like a New Yorker, even though he's sort of left that community and is trying to sort of address people all over, right? So I think there are often people that rise to different levels than maybe, well, he's not a great case because he started off rich, but but that are maybe from a working class background that keep their accent even when they take a more professional employ. But for the most part, when people want to leave their communities, they tend to flatten out or dampen some of the strongly regional features, because what appeals to more professional realms of work, especially if you're leaving community, tend to be these more general dialect features, this sort of removal from localness. That's important, because I think what we identify with localness, with local accents, with regional accents, with rural accents, is sort of intimacy, solidarity, a tight-knit community, and being members of those really solidify those features because we use them with each other all the time. But people that want to leave their communities, and we see this with kids that tend to be college-oriented, they tend to start off with fewer of those accent features because their identity is sort of outward-oriented rather than inward-oriented in their teenage years.
Very interesting. What about phrasing? Are there certain phrases that are more common with maybe the upper class and others that are with the lower class?
Well, I always think of that. I don't know if you saw, I can't even remember what the movie was named. It was with Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant, but he comes to New York, and he's in Hugh Grant has that sort of received pronunciation, upper class British sound, and he's in a New York taxi, and the taxi driver's trying to teach him how to say, "Forget about it."
Yeah, hey, walk it here.
Forget about it.
Yeah, that's funny. So many different things. So what if someone wants to sound more upper class? How should we change the way we sound?
Well, first of all, I would encourage people to be authentic. I think whenever we try to do performative accents, whenever we're not speaking like we grew up speaking and like the people that matter to us speak, it often sounds like you're trying to sound something. So, we don't want to walk around and just all say Harvard Yard, because that would sound weird. But, I think what a lot of people notice in working class speech is that it's heavier on deletions of sounds and maybe even, syllables. So you say something, don't you, gotta, those kind of things. Or, instead of saying internet or plenty, it's internet, plenty. Those kinds of things, those tend to be pretty salient. So, whenever you pay more attention to articulating all the sounds in a word, it makes you, sound a little more elitist, often snobby. So there's these different qualities that we give off when we do those types of things. But I would say that while we tend to associate people deleting sounds with kind of low class speech, the fact is we all do it. How often do you say the T in often?
Never.
Or the T in soften, or the L in walk. All of those were historically there, but we deleted them over time. And guess who led the way? The working class or lower classes tend to delete first, and then it moves to other people's speech, which is why a lot of people now say plenty instead of plenty.
Oh, what about grammar? How does it play into the way we speak and where we grow up and sound?
Well, I would say that grammar, meaning like sentence structure, so not the sounds you say, but kind of the words you say and how you put sentences together and subject-verb agreement and things like that, those are probably more salient markers of class signals than sounds per se, because I think a lot of us in fast speech delete sounds. But if you say like I had went instead of I had gone, that tends to be more of a marker of someone who hasn't learned, what people might say proper speech or grammar. And so I'd say grammar is probably the biggest cue that people take away with, class. I think one thing that's changing, though, is what you can say that might not be working class anymore or lower class. So, for example, a lot of young people now don't have the proper objective subject case. So, like, they use, like, John and me are going to the store, which historically would have been John and I are going to the store. And at least when I was a kid, I would have been admonished by my English teacher for saying that, and probably my parents. But now it's become so widespread that I think in 20 years, it will no longer be considered non-standard because it's going to be so frequent.
Well, Valerie, I'm glad you brought that up because the admonishment comes from the text line now when I say things like that. I just want to remind everyone, I'm not writing a term paper.
Radio, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not writing a term paper. I'm just talking to people on the radio. All right, so you've got the Southern who have, the I do declare debutantes, and then they have the traditional working class Southern accents. You've got the Brooklyn accents, but then you've got the boarding school accents up in the Northeast. But it kind of seems the further you go out west, and I guess classically everyone out west is a transplant at some point, but the further you go out west, there doesn't really seem to be that much of a dichotomy or an accent.
Well, I mean, there is definitely a West Coast accent, but I think it's a little different than what we get along the East Coast. Part of that is time. The settlement history of the West is a couple centuries younger than the settlement of the East Coast, right? So what was brought over by the colonists to settle those East Coast sort of mid-Atlantic colonies were accents of other languages or other nations. But when we get the West Coast settlement in the middle of the 1800s, what we get are mainly transplanted American accents. So I think what you see in part is just that there was more leveling already by that time because people that moved to the West already sounded more similar and more American than people that had settled as colonists in the 1600s. So part of that is simply just it's more homogenous by the time we get West Coast settlement. But part of it is also this idea of what we think of as sort of working class accents. You tend to have accents that are really iconic in the American imagination, like the surfer dude or the Southern California
Valley Girl.
And those are more middle class accents, right? So they're not as classed as perhaps the regional accents are. But you do get things like the Mission Brogue accent in San Francisco, which has a little tinge of New York in it from some of the early New England and New Yorker kind of immigration into that area. But it is true, I would say, that what we find mostly in the West are ethnic varieties that tend to be classed, so that a lot of people hear like a Mexican-American accent as a working class or lower class accent, rather than the historical regional classes that we get in the East.
Well, every time we talk to you, it brings up another conversation for a future date. And that Valley Girl and the surfer thing, that seems more of a trendy accents that kick off from trends.
Cool,
people,
dude.
yeah, people talk like that because their friends talk like that, not because their parents or their region talks
all
like that.
In a bag of chips is what Valerie is.
It's just every week you bring us something new, and now we can't wait for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you then.
All right. Thanks, Valerie. It's 11 minutes before 4. Let's go back to the John Bill Roofing Traffic Center in Captain Paul.
Heidi, on 44 East at Jameson, police activity is blocking the two right lanes with the slowdown back to Shrewsbury. There's a crash on 270 north of Dorset, causing a backup to Page. 64 West is stop and go between Lake St. Louis Boulevard and I-70. In Illinois, 64 West is jammed again between 159 and 255. That's where the closure of 64 West starts, and it continues to 15th Street in East St. Louis. And 64 East is congested between Illinois 157 and 159. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rack House in Cottleville. Stop by for brunch or happy hour, or have the Rack House cater your next event with box lunches or buffets to accommodate groups of 10 to 200 people. The Rack House, featuring a seasonal menu and upscale casual dining and drinks since 2014. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
The Big 550 knows you're a sports enthusiast, and we have the ultimate sports package for you to bid on. Yeah, we want your donations to support the St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer. Now through today until 5:45, place your bid for more than $1,500 in sports tickets. What does this include, you might ask? 2 tickets to this Sunday's final round of the BMW Championship at Belle Reeve. 2 tickets to St. Louis City SC at Energizer City. Versus the Arkansas Pine Bluff game in Columbia. 2 tickets to a Blues regular season game. 8 rows from the ice. 2 tickets to a Mizzou basketball game in Columbia. 2 tickets to a Sloan basketball game. 2 tickets to a St. Louis Ambush indoor soccer game. 27 St. Louis Battlehawks game.
And don't forget, 2 tickets to the Cardinals 2027 opening weekend game.
You want more? Oh, come on. Put your bids in now through 5:45 this evening, and the Heidi Glaus Show will announce the winner after 5:45. Oh, and to bid, text us at 84126. Include your name and your bid amount and text to 84126. Man, this is a lot of stuff. Bid now.
This is Mariah, 3rd generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure a complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
You've spent years building your retirement savings. How do you turn those savings into income that you can rely on? Hear more on the Financial Safari with local trusted advisor Greg Belger, Sundays at 5 p.m., right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, after the primaries, candidates from both sides of the aisle are trying to unite their parties. Ben Siegel, ABC News Deputy Political Director, joins us with an update on what happened. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thanks for having me.
So several high-profile primary races really tested how much President Trump's endorsement can do. So where does all of that stand? How did the candidates that he endorsed do?
I'd say by and large, the president's endorsement is still a huge making influence inside the Republican Party. But, you know, he did have in 3 races, the people he endorsed lost in the Wyoming governor's race and in 2 races for House seats, Republican primaries in Florida, his new adopted state. And I think that's worth pointing out because, you know, there are candidates in these races who did not have strong ties to their district. Somebody like Republican Congressman Corey Mills, who's really been plagued by scandal in this term in office, has been, you know, investigated by the House Ethics Committee for a number of different allegations. He was not able to outrun that baggage. So the president's endorsement can really take Republicans out of a crowded field and potentially put them in a winning position. But it's hard for them to outrun baggage, to outrun you know, loose ties to their district. And in the other Florida race, the other Republican candidate was somebody who had previously run for Congress in Illinois, who did not have deep ties to Florida. He lost to a native who was from that district in the 19th district there. So just another data point in making sense of the president's power in the GOP.
You know, I'm looking at the Democrat side, and you see a lot of these Democratic socialists win races. You've seen some lose races. But it seems like the far left is getting a lot of primary wins here. But in a year where the midterms, the president is polling historically low, terrible approval ratings, you can almost, as a Democrat, put anybody up. But are we overcorrecting when it comes to some of these Democratic candidates? Could they have gone too far left to possibly win against Trump's record?
I think what happened in Florida, the Senate race there, you had Angie Nixon, a Democratic Socialist state representative, surprised Alexander Vindman, a liberal icon, for his role in the first Trump impeachment, testifying about the president's actions about withholding aid to Ukraine. You know, she defeated him. Vindman had raised $16 million in the Democratic Senate race for Florida, was going out to the general election. There were some people in Florida confident that that amount of money could really make a state like Florida competitive in the general election, even though the state has moved to the right. But now you have a Democratic Socialist who will be running in that race against Senator Ashley Moody, who was appointed to that seat. in a state where many voters have connections to countries or, in fact, flood countries in Latin America with communist and socialist regimes. So in this case, it might make it harder for Democrats to do well on the statewide level. But in other states, for sure, especially in states that lean to the left or Democratic, there's evidence to believe that Democratic socialist candidates, especially in some big blue cities, will be still able to win in the general election.
And Ben, in your professional opinion, what does this mean for the Democratic Party in general? Are they going to all kind of move a little further, or do you think that they'll hold ground and be, not quite as much on the socialist level?
I think it really depends on the outcome of these elections in November. The Michigan Senate race, Michigan is a key presidential battleground. The Democratic candidate for Senate there, Abdul El-Sayed, is an unabashed progressive. He's not a socialist, but he's further to the left on some issues than other candidates. If he wins in that state, it will, put a lot of pressure on the moderate side of the Democratic Party heading into a presidential year where they're looking for their standard bearer. So much of where this fight ends up will come down to the results, who wins in which states in November. But this is a conversation that Democrats are certainly going to continue well beyond next November.
Well, and I want to talk about that exit interview that they did on the 2026 election, 24 election, I should say. What did they learn from Trump versus Kamala Harris? Because if anybody's surprised that socialists are doing well in primaries, they've got their head in the sand. Prices are up on everything. The current president is bragging about his gold-encrusted jet that he's flying around in. I mean, this is a very let-them-eat-cake moment for the United States, I feel. But did they learn from the previous election in saying maybe we need to have some centrist candidates?
I think different people are drawing different conclusions from what happened in 2024. Certainly the progressives, the far left of the Democratic Party, are arguing that 2024 happened, that Trump won again, in part because Joe Biden, left the race and Vice President Kamala Harris was selected by party leaders to run in his place. So there is a trust deficit that they are arguing exists between the leaders of the Democratic Party and Democratic Party voters. I think that's one lesson that's being drawn. And certainly with moderates and centrists are really drawing a different lesson from that about the kind of things that will win and the importance of courting independent voters, the importance of courting moderate voters who believe President Trump would be better for the economy. So again, it really depends on where you stand on the spectrum in the Democratic Party in terms of what lessons you draw from 2024. But another compounding factor here, Democrats have changed up their primary nominating calendar in a way that could impact, who gets traction coming out of the gate. South Carolina, a state that has really had a moderating influence on Democratic primaries, those voters will vote first in the 2026 Democratic presidential primary. Iowa is no longer on this list of early voting states. So there will be some profound changes there in the way that Democratic voters pick their presidential candidates, which will also potentially impact who leads the party in the next election.
Yeah, all very interesting, and we're happy to have your insight. Ben Siegel, thank you.
Thanks.
We are here with the man, Ryan Raphael. He's the Medicare man of St. Louis. Ryan, one of the biggest misconceptions about Medicare when people reach the age of 65 is if they don't sign up at age 65, they get penalized.
So really what happens is when people are approaching 65, they get all the literature and things coming at them that looks like they have to do something. If somebody is working, they really do not have to sign up for Medicare as long as they're part of an employer of 20 or more employees and they can take it out down the road and not pay penalties.
So if you're over the age of 65 and you have not signed up for Medicare, there's no penalty. There's no reason why you can't do it at age 65, 66, or 67,
that
or 70.
Correct. Yep.
That is Ryan Raphael. If you're approaching 65 and you have questions about Medicare, he is the man. The Medicare Man, STL.com, 314-368-6808, Ryan Raphael. And if you don't trust me, trust my nanny. My nanny says he's the best. Ryan Raphael, the Medicare Man, MedicareMan, STL.com.
Lionel Richie, live in concert. Playing at the Muni, Saturday, August 29th. Get tickets now at metrotix.com.
KTRS St. Louis, the Big 550, and KTRS.com.
ABC News. Lindsay Davis, Anchor Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. After hitting the pause button on a new round of tariffs for imported Canadian goods to continue trade talks, President Trump signaled there may be a deal with Canada. It could spare Americans paying more for key Canadian items if tariffs kick in. ABC's Alex Perche has more.
They were targeting a fairly narrow set of goods, about $20 billion worth of goods. That represents about 5% of the goods that we import from Canada. Things like steel, alcohol, furniture, autos. And that's also probably why you didn't really see the markets really dip upon the announcement of these tariffs.
President Trump nominated Dr. Heidi Overton to lead the Food and Drug Administration. Overton, a top White House aide, has worked on several of the president's second-term health projects. Merck and Moderna announced their experimental mRNA personalized cancer therapy vaccine for melanoma has succeeded in a large late-stage trial. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton explains.
In this study, they followed just over 1,100 people with high-risk melanoma, and they compared outcomes of standard immunotherapy to immunotherapy plus this personalized mRNA therapy. And they found that patients who received the combined treatment went longer without melanoma returning or recurring, and went longer without melanoma spreading or metastasizing to the rest of the body.
In Massachusetts, the jury in the trial of Lindsay Clancy was sent home early due to what the judge described as an unforeseen circumstance. The mother is charged in the murders of her 3 children. Defense attorneys claim Clancy did not receive proper treatment after suffering postpartum psychosis. ABC's Peter Haralambos has more.
A bit of a surprise. The jury actually was just sent back for lunch. As they got back from that break, they were told they were actually going to go home for the day. The judge really not providing many details. He said this was unavoidable. He also told the jury not to speculate about what this is.
The jury returns tomorrow for day 17 of the trial. You're listening to ABC News.
Most car shopping starts online, and lately, shoppers are spending more time at hwkia.com. Recent website reporting shows HW Kia shoppers spend nearly twice as much engaged time on the site compared to other Kia dealer websites. That means people are choosing hwkia.com instead of doing other important internet activities, like watching a guy build a swimming pool out of mud, or looking up, can my dog eat pickles? Why are they staying on hwkia.com nearly twice as long? Because there's more worth looking at. More new Kia inventory, more ways to shop, more ways to check current offers, more ways to value your trade, and more ways to find a payment that works for you. The report also shows hwkia.com shoppers are taking action and engaging through chats, texts, forums, and money-saving website events. So before you bounce from dealership to dealership, start where other shoppers are already spending more time and getting the deal they deserve. Start now at hwkia.com. Research compiled from June and July website traffic.
Think you waited a little too long to book that vacation? Well, think again. At AAA Travel, they're helping travelers find last-minute escapes every single day. Whether you're looking for a quick beach getaway, a cruise, or a family trip before the season slips away, their travel advisors can help make it happen. Don't let another vacation opportunity pass you by. Visit your local AAA office today or visit them online at AAA.com/travel. That's AAA.com/travel. At AAA, we make traveling
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Good afternoon. It's 4:04 and 83 degrees at Westport Plaza. I'm Brendan Weesey, and here's the latest from the KTRS newsroom. An investigation continues after a pedestrian was struck and killed in North St. Louis. Police say the female victim was hit by multiple vehicles along Natural Bridge in North Euclid last night. She died at the scene. As we've learned more about this story, contrary to earlier reports, neither driver remained on the scene and are currently being sought by police at this hour. The victim's name has not yet been released. PETA is offering a reward of up to $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of whomever is responsible for abandoning 4 guinea pigs on a St. Charles County roadway. KTRS's Jill Enders has more.
The guinea pigs were found by a Good Samaritan on August 9th along Old Highway N in Lake St. Louis during an extreme heat warning. The animals were discovered in 2 plastic bowls, with 2 crammed into each. 3 of the animals were already dead when they were found. The 4th was taken to a veterinarian and is still recovering. Now, if you have any information, you're asked to call O'Fallon Animal Control at 636-240-3200. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
MAP test scores in Missouri are rising. The Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education released the 2025-26 grade level and end of course preliminary assessment data yesterday. The test results showed progress in English language arts, math, science, and government in both grade level and high school courses. 6th grade math improved by 3 points, and 8th grade science scores rose by more than 4 points. The Missouri State Highway Patrol has activated a new site to report suspicious activity. KTRS's Vicki Pimentel has details.
The Missouri Department of Public Safety and the State Highway Patrol have launched the site for the public to report suspicious activity in the state. Show Me Shield has replaced the Missouri Safe Nation app and can be accessed at showmeshield.mo.gov. Missourians can report unusual items or situations, people attempting to elicit information beyond simple curiosity, for instance, about a building's operations or purpose, security procedures, or personnel. The activities or inquiries may be innocent, so the context needs to be considered, but law enforcement will determine whether the behavior warrants additional investigation. Vicki Pimentel, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Walmart drone deliveries could soon be flying over St. Charles and Maplewood. City councils in both areas heard pitches last night from Wing, Walmart's drone delivery partner. Earlier this year, Wing announced plans to service the St. Louis metropolitan area. Let's check the markets now, presented by JBL Financial. Tune in for Straight Talk on Retirement Saturdays from 9 until 11 here on the Big 550. Dow closed up 119 points at 53,463. S&P 500 up 16 at 7707. And the NASDAQ up 41 at 26,331. Time now to head over to the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk. That's where we find the good captain himself, Paul Kopsky, standing by. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Brendan. St. Louis City SC travels to Sporting KC tonight, looking to extend their unbeaten streak to 11 consecutive matches. Sporting is at the bottom on the Western Conference table, but have never lost to City in 5 tries at Children's Mercy Park. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. An accident on southbound Lindbergh south of Lemay Ferry is causing stop-and-go traffic back to Union. There's a crash on 270 north of Dorset, blocking the 2 right lanes and causing a backup past Page. 64 West is slow around Hampton, and it's crawling between Lake St. Louis Boulevard and I-70. In Illinois, 64 West is jammed between 159 and 255. That's where the closure of 64 West starts, and it continues to 15th Street in East St. Louis, and 64 East is congested between Illinois 157 and 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Fielder Electric. See what everyone is saying about the pros at Fielder Electric. Whether it's a new build or a 100-year-old home, Fielder Electric has you covered. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. Let's take a look at that weather forecast the rest of the afternoon. There is a chance of more showers and storms, especially south of Metro St. Louis, but nothing at the moment has developed. There are some scattered showers out there, Certainly nothing heavy or severe. As we go into the evening hours, maybe an isolated storm will still be hanging around. We'll drop down to about 69 degrees tomorrow for the start of the BMW Championship. Sunny skies, and it will be nice. A high of 84 degrees. At 4:10, we have mostly cloudy skies and 83 at Westport Plaza. For the Talk of St. Louis, I'm Brendan Weesey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Since 1974, Permajack of St. Louis has been helping residential and commercial owners protect their biggest investment. From successfully solving foundation structural problems to making sure basements remain dry, Permajack has performed tens of thousands of projects on both sides of the river, utilizing state-of-the-art technology, techniques, and equipment. Permajack of St. Louis has done it with honesty and integrity, never recommending anything outside of what you really need. For many repairs, Permajack provides a transferable life of structure warranty, all while Permajack of St. Louis has earned a BBB A+ rating and accreditation for foundation settlement, bowed or buckling walls, cracks in your foundation, walls or bricks, or basement waterproofing. Choose the hometown family-owned team at Permajack of St. Louis. Schedule your free inspection and estimate at permajackofstlewis.com. That's permajackofstlewis.com. Permajack. Solid as rock.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our headlines for this Wednesday afternoon, August 18th. Rick's Ace 7th store filling Party City vacancy. Family owner retailer Rick's Ace Hardware has opened a new store expanding into a market owner Rick Ballman said has been on the company's radar for more than a decade. The 13,000 square foot store is at 9612 Olive Boulevard in the former Party City store in the Olivet Shopping Center. The store opened with a sneak preview on August 7th and it will hold a grand opening September 4th. The Olivet store is the 7th location operated by Ballman and his team. I had no idea that he was behind this many. Rick's Ace Hardware is a 70-year-old company that was started by his father, Dick. They also operate stores on the Hill, which is a fantastic store, De Pere, Ellisville, Town and Country, as well as Highland and Centralia in Illinois. The hardware store operator was attracted to Olivet by its demographics and the lack of a locally owned neighborhood hardware store nearby. The new store introduces Ace Hardware's new Elevate prototype, which is new to the market. Customers will find expanded selections of power tools, outdoor power equipment, a larger barbecue department, and a new houseware section called Kitchen Connections that feature appliances, cookware, storage products, and other kitchen items. The store is expected to employ between 25 and 30 people and a mix of full-time and part-time workers, according to the owner. Looking ahead, Ballman said the company's primary focus for 2027 will be upgrading some of its existing stores to the Elevate format, though he remains open to additional expansion opportunities if the right site becomes available. So that's pretty cool. I also didn't realize that, I guess I forget that Ace Hardware can be franchised with that name.
Yes. And I know True Value stores are franchised. Those are the ones that I worked at. Ace is the place for the Helpful Hardware folks.
Yes.
Didn't it used to be Helpful Hardware Man?
Did they change it?
They changed that.
I don't think I remember them changing it.
And the reason I love hardware stores
The smell?
is because they smell like a hardware. Do you know they have paint and paint matching and paintbrushes?
Oh, Lord.
Love a good hardware store. All right. A British Columbia couple who lost their home in the Bradley Creek wildfires that are going on out there faced an unexpected battle with their cable company.
What do you mean?
Rogers Communications is the big cable company up in Canada, and they're the ones that I think where the Blue Jays play. I think it's Rogers Center.
Okay.
So it's a big company. Greg Brown and his wife evacuated on August 1st as the fire swept through the community, destroyed their home, and when his wife called to cancel their cable and internet, Rogers demanded a $660 disconnection fee or a $10 monthly fee to suspend the account.
Going through this?
Yes.
Oh, no.
CTV News contacted Rogers with the story, and of course, damage control flipped into overtime, and they said, well, there is a waiver policy that if your house burns down in a wildfire, the fee should never be applied. So they had to go back and, give these people
an apology.
They called them directly, waiving all cancellation and equipment fees. But the owner of the house just said, I wanted our story to get out so that this doesn't happen to someone else. Obviously, after all the runaround, things are made right.
But still, you shouldn't have to deal with that headache.
No, especially when you lost everything. Well, can you return the equipment? I just had to return my AT&T equipment, things in the laundry list of things to collect. And it was pretty easy. You drop it off at the UPS store, don't even need a bag. But can you return the equipment?
If it's charred?
If I could find part of it,
right?
I'll send you the power cable back.
Going back to my story, somebody from the 618 said the Ace Hardware in Centralia has a store cat.
I told you we were at the lake. Jolly Rogers has a store cat. And the cat's name is Elizabeth Bennett. And I said, isn't that the name from Pride and Prejudice? She goes, yeah.
Wow.
That's what we named her.
Isn't that a restaurant?
Elizabeth Bennett?
No, the Jolly
Rogers. Yeah, that's
so
where
we
we
had
had
a cat in the restaurant.
The cat was, it was in the gift shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
But they had a parrot in the restaurant.
Oh, that's kind of fun too.
It was really interesting because we got all the kids walked over and posed with the parrot, but the parrot handler, who also doubled as, a waitress, she goes, hang on, and held the parrot out, and then it did its business.
Oh, she
And
could
then
tell.
She could tell.
Good thing it didn't hit any of the kids. That would have been.
But yeah.
Tough.
But then my sister was like, well, I can tell when my dog has to go to the bathroom too.
Yeah.
All
right.
All right.
All right, coming up, Lauren Risley joins us, and we've got a fun topic today. We'll talk about the difference between dated and charming.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. The one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call STLMedWeightLoss.com and ask Dr. Joe. STLMedWeightLoss.com.
I'm Mark Cantor. Here's why you can count on Cantor Injury Law.
My name is Michelle. I'm a litigation paralegal at Cantor Injury Law, and you can count on Cantor because we are smart, honest, and hardworking.
I'm Kevin Glenn and a partner here at Cantor Injury Law. You can count on Cantor because we make your cause our cause.
No fee if no recovery. Please visit CantorInjuryLaw.com or call us at 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Ask any designer, and they'll tell you lighting is key. It's Heidi, and you can completely transform your home with Nora Lighting, which is available at my go-to store, Metro Lighting. From recessed to under cabinet lighting, Nora helps brighten every corner beautifully. Visit Metro Lighting St. Louis area showrooms to explore all the Nora Lighting solutions, or check them out online at metrolightingcenters.com.
You know, that honey-do list isn't getting any shorter, and you got to make a dent into it. Can I recommend going somewhere to helping you out? Schnarr's Hardware. Schnarr's Hardware has 2 locations, one in Webster and one in Ladue. One great family, 2 great hardware stores. Schnarr's Hardware. When you walk in with that list, you say, okay, I think I know how to do this one, but these 3 I need help on. And you know what? The people behind the counter at Schnarr's Hardware, that's what they do best. They have the expertise, so they can help you with electrical, help you with plumbing, painting, really anything at Schnarr's Hardware. They're small, they're compact, but it's that friendly neighborhood hardware store that has been the way it's been here in America for years, right? You remember when your grandfather took you to the hardware store. That's Schnarr's Hardware. The popcorn and the advice are free. So when you go to Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations in Webster and in Ladue. Don't forget about the website, schnarrshardware.com. So for all of your hardware needs and that honey-do list, Schnarr's Hardware or schnarrshardware.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system,
She keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
I trust Pella Windows and Doors of St. Louis to help improve my home when it matters most. It's not just Pella's high-quality windows and doors. It's the local experts who know the St. Louis area so well. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects or 0% no payments, no interest if paid in full within 24 months. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio to learn more. 833-87-PELLA or Pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Our house in the middle of our streets. Our house in the middle of our house.
Now we haven't even started yet. Somebody says, Heidi, love having Lauren Risley on your show. I learn so much. You know, sometimes new isn't always better. Lauren Risley, founder of Lauren Risley Realty, is back to talk about the difference between dated and charming. And I love this topic because I was, telling Josh and everybody listening that my first house in St. Louis Hills had the arches, had some stained glass windows. That to me is charming.
Totally. Yes, absolutely. Whenever people are like, oh, the stained glass window, it's probably not energy efficient. I'm like, don't you dare.
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
It is so cool.
Yeah. And, I think in St. Louis, at least, when people think of charm or, historical features, they think of just the city, right? Tower Grove South, Lafayette Square, Compton Heights. But Webster, Kirkwood,
you're right.
Old Town St. Charles, a lot of those places have the features that, believe it or not, buyers are really looking for.
Okay, so let's talk about the difference. I'm going to assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe like a linoleum floor.
Get rid of it.
Right.
See ya.
Okay.
Nothing charming about that.
Okay. What's another thing that maybe needs to go and that isn't charming?
Yeah, so it's a good question to ask because, mid-century modern is a very, very popular style. And so you'll have cabinets or countertops or a kitchen, from the 70s, from the 60s, 70s. People are like, oh, this is charming. Like, nope, that's still old. You know, it's mid-century modern. So if it's in good shape, it's probably solid wood and things like that. But from a buyer's perspective, what a buyer would consider dated is probably older cabinets, older countertops, flooring.
I have a friend on the Hill who has like the old green metal cabinets, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, and if you can't keep them in your kitchen, let's say there's not enough, right? They made the kitchen bigger, then put them somewhere, right? Just because you take things out, like reuse them somewhere else, put them in the garage or put them in the basement. The things that we find, we work with buyers and sellers. I always laugh if I'm on like a panel with other agents or getting introduced to agents and they're like, oh, I'm just a listing specialist. That's a high, oh, I just do listings. And it's like, oh, so you absolutely have no idea what buyers are looking for. Like that, you must assist your sellers very well by having no idea what buyers are looking for, And so like, that's why our team equally works with buyers and sellers. We've this year, our lowest house is 86,000. Our highest is 3.6 million. So like, there's not a house that we don't work with, and they all come with their own things. But it's funny because almost every single buyer at any price point, the number one thing that they fall in love with is original hardwood floors.
What is it about those original hardwood floors that we all love? Because I'm with them.
I don't know. I think it's this like warmth that you feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people will go, well, they weren't in real good shape. It's like, well, sand them down, you know. And
there are ways around that.
There are ways around it. And what's funny is in the 50s, 60s, 70s, houses were built with hardwood floors, but no one wanted them. So in those older homes that you may look on Zillow and go, oh my gosh, that carpet's probably 40 years old. It's like, yep, you know what's under there? Gold. Beautiful hardwood floors that have not been touched at all.
Okay,
You know?
what about this? In my first house, it had like pink tile, just the square tiles, and I painted over it and never really loved it because the paint would peel. But what are some of those older color tiles?
Coming back, baby.
Okay,
Coming
so
back,
don't
baby.
tear them out.
No. And for anyone that has an older bathroom that has tile that they don't like, you just said you tried painting it, it never really worked because it chipped off. Reach out to us. We work with a guy. It's funny. I've worked with some of these. I just realized this in the last 2 weeks. This tub guy that I've worked with for over 10 years, I only know him as the tub doctor. I probably talked to him on the
You
phone.
don't know his name.
No,
Don't
I
call
just
him by first name. Just,
I call him. I'm like, hey, tub doctor. He's like, hey, Lauren, how's business? And then I have a metal guy, and his name's Mr. Metal, and so he's doing a staircase at my house right now.
Oh, who do I write the check out to?
Yeah,
Mr. Metal.
Yeah, well, and so that's how I know them, you know.
All right.
But we have an awesome tub guy, and not only does he epoxy tubs, but he can do all of those square tiles around the tub. So, and it is paint, but it's meant to stay that way.
Okay.
And so even if it has the little soap dish or the towel bar, which I never understood being in the shower.
It is very odd
in those old houses. But because they're just the square tiles, he'll pop them out, put new ones in, and then epoxy all of it, any color that you want. It's such, and it's so much
Changes
cheaper
everything.
than ripping it out. Yes.
I don't get when you go into those hotels and there's the towel bar in the shower.
Well, that's how these old South City houses are too. I'm like, yes, I would like my
Even
towel
if I
wet.
take
Thank you.
the cleanest shower ever, the towel's still going to get wet. All right, so everybody loves hardwood floors, but what about when you walk into an old apartment and it's got those like parquet floors? And I know you say, oh, they're coming back, but there are some that just look ugly and dated.
So there's some that are solid wood parquet floors, and then there's other that are like, let's call them parquet-ish, but they're not actually.
like composite wood almost.
Yes. I would love for every listener to look up Jamie Pitterly. She's an agent on my team. Google her, and I think her phone number comes up. Just randomly text her and say, send us a picture of your hardwood floors. Please do it. It would actually make me very happy. Jamie Pitterly, her house has parquet floors. The person that did them cut each piece of wood. They didn't come in squares. So they cut each piece of wood. So each square is made up of 4 pieces of wood.
So this is a piece of art.
It is incredible. I've never seen anything like it.
Is it modern?
Yes.
It's new.
No. She had them sanded and refinished. But
From the 50s?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone made these. So I think parquet before are square. It's wood, but it's a square piece, right?
Yeah.
That goes in and you turn them different ways.
Yes.
These are, let me do math. These are 3x6 pieces of wood.
Wow.
And 4 of them make up a square.
So don't rip
So
that
they
out anytime
handed-
soon.
No, it is
Okay.
the coolest I've ever seen.
Another listener, they have an old clawfoot bathtub.
Keep it.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you're going to take it out, well, if it's a bathtub, I love clawfoot tubs. So I might have just yelled, keep it
Right.
too quickly. If it's also your shower, then we might want to talk about that.
Yeah, I had
Right.
friends
Yeah.
that had one. It was so hard to get in
Well,
and
you
out
have that
of.
that oval metal
the
thing with
shower
the shower
curtain.
If they have a clawfoot tub and it is their shower, a really cool thing that they could do, it's called a wet room. And so you actually would keep the clawfoot tub, you'd tile the floor around it just as you would anything.
Put a
and then
drain in it.
you just put glass around it like a shower, and then they would put a wall up there to run plumbing, and so basically you'd still stand in the tub, you'd put a shower in there, but it would look like a enclosed shower. It's called a
Yeah.
wet room, but there's a way you can modernize that really, really well.
You need some space, though.
You need a little space, yeah. If this is
Otherwise, it looks like there's a bathtub in your shower.
I was gonna say, if the only thing in there is a tub, this is going to look
Yeah,
pretty weird, you know.
Yeah.
But clawfoot tubs, same thing. I had Tub Doctor 12 years ago do mine. He did the feet, whatever color I wanted, the tub, and I use it all the time.
I believe his name is John Tub Doctor.
His first name is Tub. His last name is Doctor.
I could talk about this forever. Maybe you guys will talk about it on the show on Sundays.
Yeah, I think Adam and I, in the next probably 2 weeks, we'll probably talk about this because Adam, he rehabs houses as well. And so he has his fair share, and then we like to disagree on things,
Of course.
especially when it comes to design. So yeah, I think that's a good topic for us to dive into a little deeper.
All right, you can listen to Call the Closer with Lauren Risley Realty. It airs right here on the Big 550 KTRS Sundays at 1. You can also catch Lauren on Fox 2 on Tuesday mornings. And if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, or if you just have a question, because knowledge is power, call Lauren Risley Realty 314-775-0684. You can also email her at hello@laurenrisleyrealty.com. Fun stuff.
I'll see you next week.
All right, it's 4:30. Let's check back in with Captain Paul. How's traffic?
Heidi, an accident on southbound Lindbergh south of Lee May Ferry is causing stop-and-go traffic back to Union. There's a crash on 270 north of Dorset. That's blocking the two right lanes and causing a bumper-to-bumper backup to Olive. 64 west is slow from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker, and it's crawling between Lake St. Louis Boulevard and I-70. 64 east slows down around 170. 270 south is heavy between 64 and Manchester. In Illinois, 64 west is jammed between 159 and 255. That's where the closure of 64 west starts and continues to 15th Street in East St. Louis. And 64 east is congested between Illinois 157 and 159. This traffic report is brought to you by John Beal Roofing. John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. Get started today for expert service and a free no-obligation estimate online at johnbealroofing.com. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
The Big 550 knows you're a sports enthusiast.
And we have the ultimate sports package for you to bid on.
Yeah, we want your donations to support the St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer. Now through today until...
What does this include, you might ask?
2 tickets to this Sunday's final round of the BMW Championship at Belle Reeve. 2 tickets to St. Louis City SC. 2 tickets to the Mizzou home opener versus the Arkansas Pine Bluff game in Columbia. 2 tickets to a Blues regular season game. 8 rows from the ice. 2 tickets to a Mizzou basketball game in Columbia. 2 tickets to a Sloan basketball game. 2 tickets to a St. Louis Ambush indoor soccer game. 2 tickets to a 2027 St. Louis Battlehawks game.
And don't forget, 2 tickets to the Cardinals 2027 opening weekend game.
You want more? Oh, come on. Put your bids in now through 5:45 this evening, and the Heidi Glaus Show will announce the winner after 5:45. Oh, and to bid, text us at 84126. Include your name and your bid amount and text to 84126.
Man, this is a lot of stuff.
Bid now.
Is the day of reckoning finally here for social media? Royal Oaks ABC News legal analyst in LA joins us with that story. I mean, opening statements began yesterday in this landmark case. What exactly is at the base of the case?
Well, the plaintiffs, and by the way, there are 29 attorneys general, generally blue Democrat-controlled states around the country, plus a few more states who were arguing consumer protection statutes have been violated. The essence of the case is that the government representatives are saying, look at Meta. They had technology to help kids, but they didn't use it. They knew how to really verify somebody's age, and they put the technology on the shelf, and internal documents show they did it because they didn't care about kids' mental health. They just wanted more profits. Now, in New Mexico, Meta's been ordered to pay almost $1 billion in downtown Los Angeles. A few months ago, a jury said pay $6 million. So, yeah, this could be a day of reckoning. It's just one of many cases against Meta and other social media platforms, but this is a big one.
So can we expect other companies to be lining up to head into the courtroom after this? You've got Snapchat, you've got, well, Instagram is Meta, but you've got X.
TikTok.
I don't even know who owns TikTok. True Social.
Absolutely. All of these, they are at risk. And in fact, in some of the cases I mentioned, Mexico, California, other states, they have sued not just Meta. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg has such a high profile. They seem to be the lead defendant in these cases. But yeah, they sue a bunch of them. And the pattern has been, TikTok will, on the brink of trial, after spending $1 million or $2 million on lawyers, they say, okay, we're going to settle. And they cut a private deal. They give a check for X dollars. Meta has been hanging in. They are reluctant to do that. I think they're just worried that if they start settling and writing big checks, that'll just encourage even more suits. And that's really the ballgame. Just like with big pharma, tobacco, suits against alcohol, the attorneys general suing want to get all of the social media platforms in a room, get them to write gigantic checks, promise to change the way they do the scrolling and the algorithms, and then they'll move on to the next bad guy.
And if these attorney generals win, where does that money go? Does it go just to the states? Does it go to a program that is supposed to help kids who maybe are struggling with mental health?
Yeah, both of those things. Interesting distinction between this trial and the others. The others were focused on individual human beings. Like in LA, there was a 20-year-old woman who said, I've been addicted since age 8. This suit is different. It really is on behalf of consumer protection agencies around the country. So, yeah, to answer your question, at first the AGs are saying, well, we want $1.4 trillion from Meta. Well, that's about what Meta is worth on the stock market. So you can't exactly just take everything, roll up the rugs and turn out the lights. Now they're saying it's more like $200 billion. Bottom line is it would go to help people who are trying to overcome problems with mental health caused by social media, and to help states and local authorities enforce strict rules about keeping the scrolling away from kids.
How long do we think that the trial is gonna last?
Could be another 3 or 4 weeks. An interesting twist here. There is a jury, but it's an advisory jury. It's really, under the law, a matter for the judge to decide, because the demand for a jury was withdrawn. But the judge figured, well, I'll get the intel and the input of the jury, and then I'll make up my own mind. So that's going to happen probably in the next month or so.
I don't know that I've ever heard that example. Does that happen often?
It's rare, but the law is divided into a couple of different things. Equitable matters, like issuing injunctions, those are only for judges, not juries. Whereas resolving facts, who done it, that's a factual question jurors decide. Sometimes when judges realize, it's up to me, the judges say, hey, why shouldn't I get input from the jury? That'll be a reflection of the community's take. Then I'll make the technical legal decisions. But yeah, it's kind of rare that a judge handles it differently like this.
And I want to ask you about lawyers' fees on a $1 trillion court settlement, a $220 billion court settlement. But first, does the case hold water? Are there smoking guns in this?
Well, yeah, they started strong in the last couple of days. The AGs have put on some witnesses who said, I used to work with Meta, and I'm here to tell you, I tried to brief that guy, Mark Zuckerberg, and he just didn't listen. Arturo Bejar is kind of the key witness, and he's saying that I was inside the company, and we had ways to implement technology to block kids, stop the scrolling, parental controls, time management features, and we put them on the shelf because we didn't care about mental health of kids. We just cared about profits. Now, the cross-examination of this guy hasn't happened yet. Maybe they'll have some really strong credibility allegations against him, but it seems like the case is off to a strong start.
And I don't want to sound like a capitalist libertarian here, but is it Facebook's job to worry about people's mental health?
And, that is the view of a lot of people. I don't know if it's going to be the view of this judge. It hasn't been of the juries yet. But it's not a crazy notion to say, no, wait a minute. We're the parents here. And, if the government wanted to make this illegal like they have in Australia, they could say, absolutely no social media for kids. So, is it really the fault of Meta that kids have mental health issues? Can you really create a causation link between staring at your screen for hours and ending up with depression, anxiety, social media problems like body image issues and suicidal ideation? A lot of people hear that and say, Now, this is complex. It's very complicated being a 13-year-old. I don't think it's a result of a few hours a day on Instagram.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
All right, back to the money, Royal. We had that Rams settlement here in town. You guys got the football team, but we got, $750 million.
Well, the attorneys got a lot of money.
After the lawyers took their, 33% cut, they walked away with $280 million. Now, who's to say what dollar amount of work they actually put in? But if there was a $200 billion settlement, would the lawyers really walk away with $60 billion?
Yeah, great question. If you have a private lawyer filing a suit, then the standard is, as you suggest, maybe 1/3 if we settle. Oh, if we're on the brink of trial, I've worked for years, 40%. If we go through trial, it's often 50%. But this is different because these aren't private attorneys. These are the state attorneys general. And so they'll have an arrangement where the judge will award reasonable legal fees, but it probably won't be anything like a third or up to 50% of the recovery, just because it's not a typical private attorney deal.
Got it. Royal, you always do such a great job breaking down these legal issues, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks.
I don't know of anybody who hasn't been to Milo's. Located in the heart of the hill across from St. Ambrose Church, family-owned Milo's helps anchor the neighborhood. Here's owner Joe Valmer on what makes Milo's so iconic.
The secret to success at Milo's is that, and I'll be very honest with you, it's my wife, Susie. This is the way you do things. This is the way how you treat people. We treat them like family. That's why we've had employees for so long. And when people come in, they feel that. We want to make it like your home. Feel like there's no better place to be.
For great food, a great patio experience with the best bocce in town, visit Milo's Bocce Garden. And Milo's is available for private parties online at milosboccegarden.com.
Jill Farmer for Premier Heating and Cooling. Summer in St. Louis means your air conditioner basically clocks in with a full-time job. And if your AC is 15, 20, or maybe even 25 years old, it could be working a whole lot harder and costing you a whole lot more than it should. A newer, high-efficiency system from Premier Heating and Cooling can cut cooling costs dramatically compared to older units. In some homes, upgrading from a 20-year-old air conditioner to a modern, high-efficiency system can reduce energy use by 20 to 40%. And even a professional clean and check tune-up can improve efficiency, airflow, and help your system keep up during brutal heat waves. Add in a smart thermostat, and the Department of Energy says homeowners can save another 10% a year on heating and cooling costs. So before your old AC taps out during the hottest week of the summer, call the highly trained team at Premier Heating and Cooling. Financing options available. 636-916-1122. PremierHeatingCooling.net. Comfort you can count on.
Is your job just a job, and you want to work in a rewarding career? If the answer is yes, then start your journey today by becoming a union construction craft laborer. Why wait? Visit buildunion.com to learn more about becoming a union craft laborer and starting a rewarding career in the construction industry. Build a career, build a future, build a legacy. Buildunion.com for more information.
My college roommate said to me recently, everyone needs a good electrician on speed dial. And you know what? He's right. Ever since Michael Baldy has started advertising on the show, you know what? He's been out to the house 4, 5, 6 different times to fix all sorts of things. Good thing I got Michael Baldy on speed dial, because those things are a hazard. And it's one thing, you know how much I like to pretend to think that I'm a home improvement guy. I'll mess with plumbing and I'll mess with woodworking, but there's something I won't mess with, and that's electricity. It's too dangerous. It's too confusing, quite frankly. I know how to plug in a light bulb, but after that, it's baldyelectric.com. So for all of your electrical needs, residential, commercial, indoor, outdoor, TVs, computers, technology, baldyelectric.com. It's the place to go. You need a good electrician on speed dial. That's Michael Baldy, or baldyelectric.com.
Inland Marine Boats in Barnard has been serving your boating needs for 40 years. Hi, I'm Jim, and this is my son, Ryan.
Remember, you only get 18 summers with your kids. Make the most of them with a boat from Inland Marine Boats, your Mercury Marine dealer.
As summer winds down, vacations come to an end, the kids head back to school, and schedules ramp up, let Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant do the cooking for you. So whether it's the start of a busy day, come grab a great breakfast, the best in St. Louis according to the Post-Dispatch, or wrapping things up after a long day, let Gingham's serve you a terrific homestyle dinner. And don't forget our fabulous desserts. We're open 24 hours a day, so no matter when you need us, Gingham's is open and ready to serve you. Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant in St. Charles, 636-946-0266, or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
The Big 550 knows you're a sports enthusiast, and we have the ultimate sports package for you to bid on. Yeah, we want your donations to support the St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer. Now through today until 5:45, place your bid for more than $1,500 in sports tickets. What does this include, you might ask? 2 tickets to this Sunday's final round of the BMW Championship at Bell Reed. 2 tickets to St. Louis City SC at Energizer City Park. 2 tickets to the Mizzou home opener versus the Arkansas Pine Bluff game in Columbia. 2 tickets to a Blues regular season game. 8 rows from the ice. 2 tickets to a Mizzou basketball game in Columbia. 2 tickets to a SLU basketball game. 2 tickets to a St. Louis Ambush indoor soccer game. 2 tickets to a 2027 St. Louis Battlehawks game.
And don't forget, 2 tickets to the Cardinals 2027 opening weekend game.
You want more? Oh, come on. Put your bids in now through 5:45 this evening, and the Heidi Glaus Show will announce the winner after 5:45. Oh, and to bid, text us at 84126. Include your name and your bid amount and text to 84126. Man, this is a lot of stuff. Bid now.
All right, we got a really great interview coming up next hour about the interstate highways. I was driving home from the lake down 70, and there was a big sign that said America 250. We've been talking about that. But then it said Interstate Highway System 70 years on. So it's the 70th anniversary of breaking ground. I guess it would be 1956. So we've got a chat next hour with...
Or is that when it was finished? No, it wasn't finished until... 90s?
Didn't even finish until the 90s.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. But what I always think, especially on our trip to Seattle, it's like, how did they ever get this done? I mean, you can go anywhere in the United States thanks to this system. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that interview as well.
Massive undertaking. If you go back and do the inflation calculator, you're looking at $800 billion. Could you even have done it today?
I doubt it.
But
can you get Congress to agree on it? Doubt it.
Can you find enough people to work on it? Can you find enough materials to build the highways? But we did it, and a country needs roads. But that'll be at 5:10 after news next hour. But I saw this story a couple of weeks ago. I thought it was really good. I want to share it with you. YouGov data reveals how Americans across different generations approach appliance purchases.
Ooh, okay.
Now, we talk about our dishwashers all the time.
It's a must.
Does anybody have any sort of attachments to their washing machine? I told you mine plays that song. Mine's a Samsung.
The dishwasher or the
washer and dryer.
Oh.
Mine plays that song at the end.
Our dishwasher does that, but our washer and dryer do not.
Is your dishwasher a Samsung?
I think it might be.
Yeah. My old dishwasher played the same song. Let's see here. Price remains the top priority universally, cited by 85% of U.S. adults on when they're going to buy an appliance.
So like if it's on sale, then they will consider getting it?
Every generation said 80% plus price was our top priority. However, brand loyalty grows with age. 58% of the silent generation and 57% of boomers consider brand loyalty important. They grew up with
that's interesting because
KitchenAid or
so often the companies are bought out by somebody else, and it's I will give the example of our RV. It's a Tiffin for years. It was like the top of the line or close to it, and they recently sold out. And now I know when something happens, it's a little harder to get parts than it used to be. So that's interesting.
Maybe I was born a Westinghouse person and I'll die a Westinghouse person. But only 42% of Generation Z says brand matters. Younger shoppers lean heavily on consumer reviews. 50% of Gen Z and millennials say they check the reviews
Hey,
as their
I've
number
started
two.
doing that more and more. I'll at least go to Wirecutter and see what they have to say, like the last vacuum that I purchased, or maybe the last hair dryer, just to see if it's a 1 star. I'm definitely not buying it. If it's not a 5 star, but it's like a 4, I'll still kind of consider it. But I like to know what people think, or even on Amazon. Have you noticed when it says this item often returned?
No, I haven't.
And I
That's
started paying,
bad. That's bad.
yeah, and it will give you reasons why it's been returned so often. But I've been keeping an eye on that and haven't bought a couple things because of it.
Silent Generation only uses 40% of consumer reviews when making a choice. That makes sense because, they'll say, well, it's a what's a good appliance brand? It's a Whirlpool, and I know they make good stuff.
Right. My first one lasted for 30 years.
Yeah. But who's the Maytag guy? The Maytag repairman. But the reviews, don't just go on how many stars there are. Read the review and see what they're actually complaining about, because what they say is a big deal for
Might
them
not
might not be a
matter.
big deal.
That's true.
That's especially true when you go and stay in hotels. Some people really think the service is more. I think the room cleanliness is the most important. And let's see here. Meanwhile, younger Americans place slightly more emphasis on style, of course.
And what it looks like.
35% of millennials and 34% of Gen Z says that that's their third biggest factor. So it goes price universally, then it goes reviews.
Where's Gen X in all of this?
You guys aren't mentioned at all.
Okay, do you want to know why? This is so interesting.
They might have wrapped you up with boomers.
Okay. I just watched this morning. It was on Oprah's podcast, and it was a woman who specialized on generations. And she talked about the silent generation and how the silent generation doesn't really label them correctly because they did so much to move things. Then it talked about the boomers and how that was, the Martin Luther King era, and you had so many people kind of coming in and making
a lot of change in the
big
boomer.
changes.
Burning bras.
Yes. And maybe Martin Luther King was silent and they were talking about it's silent, but you had Ruth Bader Ginsburg and
Well, the
Martin Luther
boomers
King,
were in high school
and so
when all that happened.
Okay. So then the boomers just kind of came in and were changing things and standing up to other things. And then mine, Gen X, don't really do anything. We're kind of go with the flow. And then it talks about the next one, the millennials. They actually are pushing back on a lot of things. They're helping get, marriage equality passed and more diversity inclusion at the workplace. And so now we don't really know where that next one's going to go.
So I'm a big generation guy, and I like labels. But the silent generation refers to the parents of boomers. I call Gen X the silent generation because those are the folks that keep their heads down.
Yes.
They raise their kids. They work hard.
They don't complain.
They don't complain.
Yeah.
They don't ask for too much.
But we didn't also push the envelope on anything.
Well, and I consider myself a millennial, the oldest millennial. I am not Gen Xer.
But I think you're more of a Gen X.
Well, I do complain a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm spoiled.
Okay.
And entitled.
Never mind. You are a complete millennial.
So the millennials are entitled and they want the things that they want. So maybe they raise their voice, but the slacker generation, the Gen Xers, they just keep their head down and they raise their kids and they go to work and they don't make a peep. So that's why I call them the silent generation.
Okay. Very interesting. 8 minutes before 5. Captain Paul, how's traffic?
No accidents, just some slow traffic. 64 West is slow from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker, and it's crawling between Lake St. Louis Boulevard and I-70. 64 East slows down at 170. 44 West is jammed between 55-64 and Tucker. 270 South is crowded around 64. In Illinois, 64 West is jammed between 159 and 255. That's where the closure of 64 West starts and continues to 15th Street in East St. Louis. And 64 East is congested between Illinois 157 and 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
I don't think I realized this. The silent generation are often called traditionalist as well. And Martin Luther King Jr. was in that silent generation. It's just the people that he kind of, brought along with him, the people doing the work.
The people listening, the people at the marches,
Acting.
the people getting sprayed by hoses, sitting at the lunch counters. Those were all baby boomers.
Yeah.
The college kids that mobilized for the civil rights. I want to know, how did you pick out your appliance? 84126 on the text line. I haven't had a chance to look. So if
Somebody said
in,
with my husband's turn, he always buys GE. If it's I'm buying, it's Bosch.
Oh, really?
I think that's interesting.
Okay, so brand loyalty. I wonder, if I checked your age, would you fall into the boomer generation, which is what the study had shown? But do you base on color? Smeg, which is the world's worst name. It's an Italian appliance company. They make some really cool looking appliances.
Is that kind of the teal color?
Well, they've got wild colors and they have kind of that mid-century modern look.
Okay.
Smeg, S-M-E-G. Terrible name. Really cool refrigerators. How'd you pick your appliance? How'd you pick your tax person?
I'll tell you.
How'd you pick your wealth advisor?
I heard everybody talking about Jeff Zufall here on the Big 550. So I went to him, and what do you know? We kept more of what's ours.
That's right. Did you hear about, how'd you hear about us? Tell them you heard about him on the radio, the Big 550 KTRS, the Heidi, Bob and Josh show, and he can start doing your taxes. He can start talking to you about wealth advising. I told you we got our big radiothon tomorrow. The sports package is still up and running. $3,000 is the bid currently.
Come in at 3,100.
3,001.
Oh,
come in at 3,001.
Yeah.
And then call Jeff up and say, hey, how do I claim this on my taxes? Because the big, beautiful bill just put in a new thing about giving, where I think it's 1,000 single, 2,000 married filing jointly. So that could be a 1-for-1 right there. Just, donate 3,000, get $1,000 off on your taxes. 636-394-5524. We do the show on the weekends, Saturdays at 3 p.m. Keep what's yours, but you can talk to Jeff any day you want. 636-394-5524. Capital Advisory, grp.com is the website, and just Google Jeff Zufall.
It is quitting time for so many people on this hump day. We got more to get to, including what I think is going to be a really fun conversation with the author of The Big Roads, The Untold Story of the Engineers, Visionaries, and Trailblazers who created the American Superhighways. I hope you'll hang out and be a part of the conversation here on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green online at jewelsonhampton.com.
What does the Science Center, Lambert Airport, the Magic House, McDonnell Douglas, and St. Louis firehouses all have in common? They all trusted their roof to Beatty Roofing. Beatty Roofing has been in business for 70 years. They're not storm chasers. They're based right here in St. Louis, and they've been doing it right for 70 plus years. And if you need a roofer, Beatty Roofing. In fact, first responders get an extra 10% off all roofs. 314-892-1331 or online, BeattyRoofing.com.
Hey, it's Julie Buck. Are you always struggling to find the perfect gift? Well, we have the solution for you. You can try a signature facial or a teen facial gift certificate. Have you heard about the Only Facial? They've got one in Clayton, Des Peres, Creve Coeur, Frontenac, St. Charles, Sunset Hills, U-City, Columbia, and Springfield Mo, Edwardsville, Illinois, and now open in Webster Groves and coming soon to Cottleville. This is a top-rated facial spa that only does facials. And there are no upsells and no gratuities accepted. One price for everything, and that price is $125. The signature facial consists of several steps customized to your unique skin types and concerns. The Only Facial is the best thing going. So check them out online at theonlyfacial.com. And if you're an esthetician, they're hiring at The Only Facial. Find out more about all of it on their website. It's theonlyfacial.com.
Are you looking for a deck? I am. And you know who I turn to? Outdoor Living and Pat Leahy. They've been a sponsor for a long time, and they've done some other projects for me, but this one's the big one. It's going to have metal framing, composite decking, and when it's all said and done, he's going to put a 50-year warranty on it. Not because I'm his spokesperson for all these years, but because I am a customer. Outdoor Living takes care of St. Louis. So if you're looking for a deck that will survive the heat and the winter and the sun and everything else, Outdoor Living, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. Outdoor Living or OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Thinking about your next vacation? Then you should be thinking about Mid-America's St. Louis Airport, offering affordable, convenient, non-stop flights with parking just steps from the terminal. Low stress, easy travel starts at Mid-America's St. Louis Airport.
Avoid the long lines and hassles of other airports by flying from Mid-America St. Louis Airport, just minutes from downtown St. Louis, featuring ideal destinations with clear turquoise waters and sugar white beaches. Or family fun in Orlando, the theme park capital of the world.
Low stress, easy travel starts at Mid-America's St. Louis Airport. Online at flymidamerica.com.
Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1.
These medications are used, these GLP-1s, for reducing inflammation in your body. I get so many folks that are like, wow, I don't have the knee pain.
Talk about the deals for KTRS listeners at stlmedweightloss.com.
All KTRS listeners, they get $50 to $100 off their first month. We make this work for you and really start feeling like the old you.
None better than to call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
KTRS St. Louis, the Big 550, and KTRS.com.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Talks are off between the U.S. and Iran. President Trump says he will not commit to a new round of talks yet, but says the U.S. has control over the Strait of Hormuz, even though Iran claims its blockade remains in effect. The president says he is opening up talks again with North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, who maintains close ties with Iran. The president telling reporters today he expects to meet with the dictator at some point this year.
Can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And I know Kim Jong-un very well, and he's going to be fine.
At least 431 salmonella cases across 32 states have been tied to now recalled jalapeno peppers, according to numbers posted by the CDC today. This includes a total of 57 hospitalizations and an increase of 86 cases, 21 hospitalizations in 5 states since the last update in early August. The age of those illnesses range from 1 to 85 years old. The jury in the Lindsay Clancy trial sent home early today, the judge telling them due to unforeseen circumstance. The judge telling the jury not to speculate, but to return tomorrow for court to resume. The mother is charged in the murders of her 3 young children. Defense attorneys say Clancy had postpartum psychosis and did not receive adequate treatment. ABC's Peter Haralambos is following the case.
They largely heard cross-examination from prosecutors who pointed out that this voice that Clancy was hearing that wasn't actually reflected in any of her medical notes, that she didn't mention it to any of her providers before the incident, and also noted the fact that, she didn't really mention it after the fact to that many people either, trying to cast doubt on that explanation.
New promise for patients battling melanoma. Merck and Moderna announced today their experimental mRNA personalized cancer therapy vaccine succeeded in a large late-stage trial. The FDA has not indicated when or if it will approve the treatment. You're listening to ABC News.
We celebrate our nation's 250 years of independence and the anniversary of the One Big Beautiful Bill. As a small business owner, you understand the freedom and independence that comes from owning your own business. Hi, I'm Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor at Capital Advisor Group and the author of the 2 #1 best-selling books on taxes, Keep What's Yours and Keeping What's Yours. We're celebrating 50 years helping small businesses maintain their independence by minimizing their financial risk to their business, reducing their tax liability, and growing their wealth with strategic tax planning. If you're relying on investment advice from someone who isn't familiar with strategic tax planning and you feel like you might be paying more than your fair share in taxes, give us a call. 636-394-5524. That's 636-394-5524. 5524 or online at capitaladvisorygrp.com.
Good afternoon. It's 5:03 and 82 degrees at Westport Plaza. I'm Brendan Weesey, and here's the latest from the KTRS newsroom. Governor J.B. Pritzker has issued a state disaster proclamation following weeks of severe and record-breaking weather across Illinois. The storms resulted in widespread damage from torrential downpours, flash flooding, straight-line winds, and several tornadoes. The proclamation will make additional state resources and personnel available to support local response and recovery operations. The St. Louis County Council has passed new restrictions on panhandling. The council voted 6-1 last night in favor of a measure outlawing what it calls aggressive soliciting. This includes intentionally touching someone without their consent or following someone to intimidate them into giving money. The ordinance also prohibits all panhandling on public transit vehicles within 15 feet of a bank entrance or ATM and between sunset and 9 a.m. It goes to the desk of County Executive Sam Page, who vetoed broader panhandling restrictions back in 2023. St. Louis has been nominated for the Best Amateur Sports Event of 2026. KTRS's Vicki Pimentel has more.
The Missouri Department of Public Safety and the State Highway Patrol have launched the site for the public to report suspicious activity in the state. Show Me Shield has replaced the Missouri Safe Nation app and can be accessed at showmeshield.mo.gov. Missourians can report unusual items or situations, people attempting to elicit information beyond simple curiosity, for instance, about a building's operations or purpose, security procedures, or personnel. The activities or inquiries may be innocent, so the context needs to be considered, but law enforcement will determine whether the behavior warrants additional investigation. Vicki Pimentel, KTRS News.
Attorney General Catherine Hanaway is renewing the Veterans Assistance Program through a Mizzou Law Veterans Clinic partnership. The Defenders Program was established to provide pro bono assistance to active duty service members and other eligible military personnel, combat predatory business practices targeting the military community, and offer education on consumer protection issues affecting service members. Hanaway says she encourages attorneys across the state to join and volunteer their time and expertise to support this program. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Missouri job numbers are out for July, and they show some modest improvements. The seasonally adjusted unemployment rate decreased from 3.7% in June to 3.6% in July. Private industry employment increased by 6,900 jobs, while government employment increased by 1,200. Year over year, there was an increase of 29,400 jobs, and the unemployment rate decreased from 4% in July 2025 to 3.6% in July 2026. A check of the markets now, presented by JBL Financial. Tune in for Straight Talk on Retirement Saturdays from 9 until 11 here on the Big 550. The Dow closed up 119 points at 53,463. The S&P 500 up 16 at 7707, and the Nasdaq up 41 at 26,331. Time now to head over to the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk. That's where we find the good captain himself, Paul Kopsky. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Brendan. The Cardinals and the Reds play again tonight in Cincinnati in Game 4 of a 5-game series. Matthew Liberatore gets the start. The Redbirds have won 2 of the first 3 and are still 3 games back of the final NL wildcard spot. I'm Paul Kopsky from the Royal Banks of Missouri Sports Desk, and now on to traffic. There's an accident on 64 East at Spady. 55 South is congested between Butler Hill and Merrimack Bottom. 64 West slow from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker, and it's crawling between Lake St. Louis Boulevard and I-70. 64 East slows down around 170. 44 West is jammed between the Poplar Street Bridge and Tucker. In Illinois, 64 West is jammed between 159 and 255. That's where the closure of 64 West starts. starts, and it extends to 15th Street in East St. Louis. And 64 East is congested between Illinois 157 and 159. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. Let's check out that forecast now. There have been some scattered showers around this afternoon, nothing heavy. We're watching areas to our south to see if anything develops, and there just hasn't been much. So really, I think for the most part, we're going to remain dry. Still some isolated showers and thunder showers out there tonight. Otherwise, we'll drop down to about 69 degrees. Tomorrow for the start of the BMW Championship, sunny skies, beautiful conditions to start the tournament. We'll have a high of 84. At 5:08, we have mostly cloudy skies and 82 degrees at Westport Plaza. For the Talk of St. Louis, I'm Brendan Wiese on the Big 550 KTRS.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. I travel, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota.
Well, we can go everywhere because of our great interstate highway system, and our system is celebrating 70 years. Earl Swift actually wrote a book about it, The Big Roads, the untold story of the engineers, visionaries, and trailblazers who created the American superhighways. And he's joining us with a look back. Thanks for making time for us this afternoon.
You bet, Heidi.
And I guess I should say, welcome home. You graduated from Kirkwood High, is that correct?
Yes, it's true. 1976, also graduated from UMSL.
Well, look at that. A proud St. Louisan you are.
Absolutely.
So I think our interstate system is an amazing feat. When you started doing research, what impressed you the most?
I guess it was just the willingness on the part of the public and the government to invest in such a huge piece of infrastructure. Recall, if you will, I mean, this was a period in which the country might not have been quite as partisan as it is now, but still getting on board with one monolithic project like this was no certain thing. And they managed to put together not only a vision for the system, but a way to finance it without blood being spilled on the floors of Congress. So,
well, I want to ask you the cost of an undertaking like this. But first, what were the roads like before the highways?
Well, the thing to remember about the interstates is that they are the product of an evolution. They didn't spring out of the ether. All the interstates generally, with very few exceptions, shadow a pre-existing numbered U.S. highway. And those numbered U.S. highways date to the mid-1920s, and they were built either on top of or in the shadow of a kind of public-private hybrid of primitive interstate roads called the auto trails. Most of them were privately financed, but promoted publicly. And those in terms were built in the shadow of old plank roads and farm to market roads. And those in turn were built, if you go back far enough, on Indian hunting trails, which were built in the shadow of game trails. So when you get down to it, the interstates, the routing they take was engineered by migrating buffalo and elk, and there's nothing new about those routes. They are, if you go back to the very earliest iterations of the interstate system, which was a study done in 1939, you'll find that the maps of the highways that were proposed in that report are an almost exact match for the system we got. So
how about that?
Yeah. So in 1939, when these system, when the system was first proposed in something like its current state, I mean, the vast majority of public roads in the United States were unpaved. It took a long time to get from point A to point B. Even simple travel was a challenge. No goods were truck long distance. I mean, that just didn't happen. Even when the interstates were finally financed in the mid-1950s, there was very little expectation that long-distance trucking would be a major factor on the roads.
Wow.
All that was done by train.
So, Earl, did all of the governors of each state come together and decide where these roads were going to go? How did they map it out?
Well, it's a misconception to view these as federal highways.
Okay.
They're all state highways. So the Interstate 70, for instance, is within the confines of Missouri, is a Missouri highway. It is maintained by the state. It was built by the state. It was routed by the state with federal oversight. So what happened was that there was an organization created back in the teens, the American Association of State Highway Officials. It's now the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials, AASHTO. And the states each had multiple representatives in AASHTO, which was divided into committees that specialized in various parts of the technical aspects of building roads. And the feds were also they were the expertise for AASHTO to draw upon, the experts at the Bureau of Public Roads. And so it was from the beginning, was this kind of state-federal partnership that built roads dating back to the period right around World War I. This started in 1916, really, this federal-state partnership. And the rule was that the states got to pick the roads. They got to build the roads they needed, with the expectation that if they were going to get help from the feds, they had to follow a few certain parameters. Number one being that their highways had to hook up with the highways in the neighboring states, and they also had to, specifications like lane widths and the radius, the radii of turns. Those were all dictated by AASHTO committees based on federal input, from federal expertise. So it was this weird kind of, the feds on the one hand did not make any of the decisions. On the other hand, it was federal expertise that informed all of the state decisions.
Yeah.
And the feds had kind of a veto power over what the states came up with.
And where the buffalo roam, quite literally, on where the routes were taken. So you said a couple of dates there, 1939. You said 1919. The leading thought, I love myth busting on this show, Earl, so bust some bubbles here. The leading thought was that Eisenhower comes back from leading the Allied invasion in World War II and said, boy, I drove on this Autobahn that Hitler built. What a road. We should build roads like that. Is that a true story?
I'm sure he said it. It's true as far as that goes, but it had nothing to do with our building the interstates. The popular myth is that Eisenhower, as a young major in 1919, participated as an observer on an Army truck convoy that went from coast to coast. It went from D.C. to San Francisco, and was appalled at the state that he found American roads to be in. And that's true. He did that, and he had that experience. And then, 30 years later, he leads the Allied charge across Europe to Berlin, and in the final days of that charge, rides on Hitler's Autobahns. And so you have these bookended experiences by one guy who then later becomes president and uses those experiences as the basis for his advocacy for a superhighway system. The individual pieces of the story are all true, but they don't add up to causality. He came into the interstate business after all the important decisions had been made. The only thing left to do was to figure out how to finance it. And, all the important work was done under FDR.
Wow.
It was done in 1939 for a report called Toll Roads and Free Roads, and then refined in 1944 for another report called Interregional Highways. And Congress actually authorized the interstate system in December of 1944. It just didn't throw any money into it. So this thing predates, when the important decisions were made about the interstate system. Eisenhower was kind of busy, fighting Hitler. He had his hands full with other stuff. And I don't mean to take away from Eisenhower at all. It's just that he got credit for signing a bill that he had very little to do with actually engineering writing of.
Fascinating. We're talking to Earl Swift, who is the author of The Big Roads, The Untold Story of the Engineers, Visionaries, and Trailblazers who created the American superhighways. I've always wondered how they came up with the numbers. We obviously travel 70 all the time. California has the 405. What is behind the number system?
Well, it's the inverse of the number system used for the numbered U.S. highways, which was developed by a guy named E.W. James, who worked for the Federal Bureau of Public Roads. And it follows a very simple pattern. North-south highways are odd numbered. East-west highways are even numbered. In the case of the interstate highways, the low numbers are on the West Coast. The high numbers are on the East Coast. The low numbers are up down south, the southernmost highways, and the high numbers are up north near the Canadian border. So in the case of Interstate 70, because it ends with a 0, you know it's an east-west highway. Because it ends with a 0, you know that it's a principal east-west highway, because only the most important highways end with a 0 or a 5. And because it's numbered 70, and the numbers of east-west highways vary from route, Interstate 2 down in the southernmost to Interstate. Let me think about this. What is the? I guess it would be. I guess there's a 98 way up north. You know that it runs pretty much across the country's waste, somewhere in the middle. So if you know the number of a highway, you can pretty much pinpoint what part of the country it's in just by its number. Likewise, 55 going through St. Louis, you know that's going to run through the approximate middle of the country, going east to west.
How about that?
Yeah.
What's the highway over on the East Coast? If it's 405 over in L.A., what's the one? Is it 5?
Well,
is it 15?
405 is a branch highway off of 5.
Oh,
so
okay.
5 is really the highway over on the West Coast. That 405, whenever you have a 3-digit interstate and it has
it's a
even
branch
number as its first number, then you know it's a loop and it will make contact with its parent highway in 2 places. If it has an odd number as that first number, then you know it's a spur and it just connects to the parent highway once.
170,
Yeah.
270, 370.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
170 is a great example. So it's over on the East Coast, it would be 95 would be the principal.
Okay,
north-south
so
highway.
it starts lower in the west and
Yes.
goes up in the east. It starts lower in the south and goes up to the north. All right, it's starting to make sense here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and likewise, the numbering of the mile markers within each state, they're going to be lowest at the southern border of the state and at the western. So when you're on 70, the numbers increase as you come eastern Kansas City. And they increases on 55 as they come north from Arkansas. And, that comes in pretty handy if you're on a long trip. You can figure out where you are from the next state border or from the past state border, actually, if you're, depending on which way you're traveling by the mile marker you're at.
So Route 66 is celebrating an anniversary as well. It's the 70th of the interstate highway. Route 66 is 100 years old. We know Route 66 turned into 44. What was Highway 70 before it was Interstate 70?
Highway 70 was, it's a mishmash. It's in places it's US 50. In places it's US 40. It kind of bounces around a bit. And likewise, Interstate 80 follows US 30 for most of its length. That's up in Iowa. Down south, let's see, you've got 95 follows old US 1. In California, Highway US or Interstate 5 follows 101 for most of its length. And so, they pretty reliably shot. There are only a couple of places where interstates crossed land that had not been previously traversed by U.S. highways. Eastern Utah is one place. The San Rafael Swell was thought to be impossible to build a road across until they punched 70 through.
Speaking of building, any idea how many people worked on our interstate system?
Oh, I have no idea. Again, these were state highways, so it varied greatly from state to state.
Yeah.
And but you can safely bet it was in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions.
And how long did it take? Because, if we're breaking ground in 1956, I saw a story that they didn't even declare it was finished until the 90s.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Another piece of Interstate 70 out in Colorado, the Glenwood Canyon stretch, was one of the last pieces completed of the original interstate system. They're still adding pieces to it now, but the original system as conceived in 1956 was not completed until 92, 93.
Was it 2 lanes when it first started?
No, it was pretty much now as originally conceived in 1939, it would have been a 2-laner for vast stretches of the West. But when it came time to actually build it, it was built to a standard 4-lane width with a median in between the lanes, 12 feet wide lanes. The shoulder width was constant throughout the system. What you wound up with was a closed system, a closed loop, where any one piece of the system had more in common with other pieces of the system than they did with the territory through which any particular part of the system passed. So if you were in Colorado, your experience on the interstate was almost exactly what it would have been in Kansas. And, down to signage, the font of the sign, used on all the directional signs, the color green used as the background on those signs, the lane width, all the technical engineering of the roads, all of that was a constant.
And in retrospect, that's exactly what you want, especially as you mentioned, they didn't think about trucking, but now that we have trucking, all the trucks can know what size they have to be and know that they can go under and over the different overpasses. I got one more question for you, Earl. Heidi asked how many people worked on it. I got to know how many dollars went into it.
Well, there's, depends on whose dollars you're using, what period. In 1950, $6, something like $125 billion. But, it turned out to, God knows how much it really cost. I mean, it's the biggest public works project in American history to date. It dwarfs anything else we've done, including the Panama Canal. It's something that probably could not be done again, just because it would be tough to find enough sand to
make all the concrete.
Yes, to make all the concrete. I mean, sand is a finite resource. And we used an awful lot of it to build the interstate highway system.
And the calculator says that it would be about $700 billion. I mean, we're touching $1 trillion here, so quite the undertaking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but look at how well it's done. It amounts to about 2% of our mileage of public roads in the U.S., and it carries 25% of our traffic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of return on the dollar, this is one of the best investments America's ever made.
Amazing. Earl Swift, this has been a fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Most car shopping starts online, and lately, shoppers are spending more time at hwkia.com. Recent website reporting shows HW Kia shoppers spend nearly twice as much engaged time on the site compared to other Kia dealer websites. That means people are choosing hwkia.com instead of doing other important internet activities, like watching a guy build a swimming pool out of mud, or looking up, can my dog eat pickles? Why are they staying on hwkia.com nearly twice as long? Because there's more worth looking at. More new Kia inventory, more ways to shop, more ways to check current offers, more ways to value your trade, and more ways to find a payment that works for you. The report also shows hwkia.com shoppers are taking action and engaging through chats, texts, forums, and money-saving website events. So before you bounce from dealership to dealership, start where other shoppers are already spending more time and getting the deal they deserve. Start now at hwkia.com. Research compiled from June and July website traffic.
Choose Pella of St. Louis for window and door replacement to help enhance your home. For a limited time, get 20% off Pella projects. Call 833-87-PELLA or visit Pella.com/radio. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newssetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
As summer winds down, vacations come to an end, the kids head back to school, and schedules ramp up, let Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant do the cooking for you. So whether it's the start of a busy day, come grab a great breakfast, the best in St. Louis according to the Post-Dispatch, or wrapping things up after a long day, let Gingham's serve you a terrific home-style dinner. And don't forget our fabulous desserts. We're open 24 hours a day, so no matter when you need us, Gingham's is open and ready to serve you. Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant in St. Charles, 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
Before you put your home on the market, before you have to pay money fixing it up to sell it, before you have to pay real estate commissions, call me. I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I will buy your home. Any property, any condition, anywhere, and always as is. Call me, Mike Robinson with Robank Properties at 314-283-0867. That's 314-283-0867. You have nothing to lose when you call Robank Properties at 314-283-0867.
Tune in Mondays to the Frank and Jill. That's St. Louis style is making a difference in our community. Brought to you by the St. Louis Chess Club.
Building champions in the classroom and the community. Online at stlouischessclub.org.
The Big 550 knows you're a sports enthusiast.
And we have the ultimate sports package for you to bid on.
Yeah, we want your donations to support the St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer. Now through today until 5:45, place your bid for more than $1,500 in sports tickets.
What does this include, you might ask?
2 tickets to this Sunday's final round of the BMW Championship at Belle Reed. 2 tickets to St. Louis City SC at Energizer City Park. 2 tickets to the Mizzou home opener versus the Arkansas Pine Bluff game in Columbia. 2 tickets to a Blues regular season game. 8 rows from the ice. 2 tickets to a Mizzou basketball game in Columbia. 2 tickets to a Slough basketball game. 2 tickets to a St. Louis Ambush indoor soccer game. 2 tickets to a 2027 St. Louis Battlehawks game.
And don't forget, 2 tickets to the Cardinals 2027 opening weekend game.
You want more? Oh, come on. Put your bids in now through 5:45 this evening, and the Heidi Glaus Show will announce the winner after 5:45. Oh, and to bid, text us at 84126. Include your name and your bid amount and text to 84126.
Man, this is a lot of stuff.
Bid now.
Meep, meep.
It is 5:30 and time to go back to the John Bill Roofing Traffic Center. And Captain Paul, it seems like it's been a fairly okay day on the roads, no?
It's been pretty quiet, Heidi. Right now, no accidents, just some slow traffic. 64 West is slow from Kings Highway to McCausland, and it's crawling between Lake St. Louis Boulevard and I-70. 64 East slows down from 170 to Big Bend. In Illinois, 64 West is jammed between 159 and 255. That's where the closure of 64 West starts, and it extends to 15th Street in East St. Louis. And 64 East is congested between Illinois 157 and 159. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Captain Paul, did you hear that last interview that we did about the interstate road systems? Did you know that the little numbers are in the south, the big numbers are up north, and the little numbers are out west, and the big numbers are in the east? I would have thought the east would have one.
Why?
Like our area codes,
a little known fact.
like our zip codes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's 90210 all the way out there, and it's 1. Is there a 1? Is there a 1 zip code, Captain?
I don't think there is.
Think so.
But he said Highway 70 is right, pretty close to the middle, and that's,
And down in Florida and Alabama and those areas, the low numbers.
like 10.
10, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So very interesting conversation. And for a traffic guy, Paul, I thought you would have
That's right.
really appreciated that. You know what I appreciate? Pizza.
Yeah. Did you have any pizza while you were at the lake? 'Cause
No.
I bet the Deerbergs has it.
You know they do.
Yeah.
The Woods probably has
Oh,
it.
they might. Is that what you're closer to?
The Hy-Vee probably has it.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been to the Woods, but somebody said go to the Hy-Vee.
Yeah, the Hy-Vee is good.
Do they have a Chinooks at the lake?
But the Deerbergs is great. It overlooks the lake, and
Oh
you can
my
actually like have dinner up there.
Dinner and a view.
Mm-hmm.
Dogtown and a view.
They might have actually had music there a couple times too. I don't know if they do that anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's fancy.
Really nice. Oh, the Deerbergs just opened up out in Newtown yesterday.
Have you been?
No.
Okay.
I got to go and get bread. And
Ooh.
Carney says his son works there now. So.
Oh, doing what?
Well, I don't, Susan's very protective about the kids.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you off the air.
But you just said he's working there.
Yeah.
I've already said too much.
I'm going to say, you're going to be grounded.
I'm in trouble. Back to the Dogtown. I got to go and pick up bread for Finn's lunches because now, he's back in school and I got to make lunch every day that he's not buying. So I'll pick up some bread and I'll swing by the frozen food section.
Mm-hmm.
John says, Carney said they got a whole pizza section at the new Deerbergs. I bet it's all Dogtown because that's what anybody really wants to buy.
I
anyway.
agree. It's all I want.
Dogtown Pizza, 12 different varieties, every local grocery store in town and at the lake and in Gulf Shores and in Florida and some in Texas. And boy, they're getting around. One of these days, based off of solely our advertising here at the Big 550, they'll go nationwide. But in the meantime, you can find them at every local grocery store, 12 different varieties. It's Dogtown Pizza.
I don't know how to feel about this, but according to a report, BMW, Ram, and Tesla have the worst drivers. Now,
Oh.
I drive one of those. I'm going to disagree, but that's just me. I guess across the country, BMW drivers had nearly 45 incidents per 1,000 drivers throughout the past year. That's how they kind of come up with who's the worst. That includes accidents, DUI, speeding, and citations. And Tesla is the third worst. After being the worst overall a year ago, Ram is then in second. On the flip side, Chrysler, Cadillac, and Mercury have the best. Chrysler drivers had 26 incidents per 1,000 drivers, the lowest rate among the major brands. I think that's very interesting.
I wonder what I would have, if you would have asked me point blank,
Mm-hmm.
who are the safest drivers and what kind of car they.
I would say Prius.
Oh, the
Toyota Prius.
The Toyota Prius drivers.
I feel, and if you guys are driving one, then please don't hold it against me. I feel like they're the slowest drivers.
Okay, well, here's the deal. And we're talking stereotypes here.
Yes.
Chrysler, Cadillac, Mercury. There are not a lot of Mercuries left.
Oh, you're going to say it's an older driver?
It's an older driver. It's a safer driver.
Do you think
it's a slower driver? BMW, that's Heidi. She drives fast.
That's true.
So slow, unsafe, fast, also unsafe.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think if, I drive an SUV and I'll probably try to drive SUVs for the rest of my life. But if I were my personality style, I should be driving
a Mercury.
Marquis.
I agree.
Mercury Grand Marquis. That is
you.
If you look at me, my head turns into a Mercury Marquis.
Okay, but I know you were on vacation, so maybe you weren't really paying attention. But yesterday or the day before on the Today Show, they did this new trend, and it is like the classic cars are now more vintage cars. People are looking for the station wagon with the wood paneling.
I did see that.
Or like the Toyota Corolla 1994. It is so interesting.
It's funny. I was driving down Hampton the other week, Heidi, and I saw this like perfectly restored Chrysler LeBaron.
Oh my gosh. And did you do a double take?
And it was like, wow, okay. And then it was like an older guy driving it. So maybe he just had the car for a long time. But I was like, okay.
Yeah, he never got rid of it.
Never got rid of it.
Was it a convertible at least?
No.
Did it have, it wasn't?
Not unless they did hard tops. I don't.
Was it, did it have wood paneling? Only the convertibles.
I couldn't really tell. It was like a beige. It looked really
beige
70s.
was a popular color.
I had said this, brown was huge.
Oh, our Buick was
growing
brown.
up.
Mm-hmm.
But now Darren's not going to be in tomorrow. He's still in Florida. You go to the Kia lot, the new what did Luis drive? The new Kia, it's the smaller SUV. They got the
Sorrento?
No, it's smaller than that. There's the commercials are running right now, and it's got the wooden toy cars, and the Kia's driving all around them. They're brown and tan. And
the one is gold.
Yeah, the one is gold, and the Telluride is coming in this brown color now.
Yeah.
So brown is back.
I saw
Like cardboard box brown.
Darren a couple of weeks ago, and he was in one of the golder colors. And my mom goes, "That's the one in the commercial." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Somebody said that Carney shared what his son was doing last week, so you don't have to worry. Somebody else said the Lakeview Deerbergs, you can buy Dogtown pizzas, and they will cook it on the pizza oven for you.
And you can eat and look at the lake.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy,
Okay.
I mean, Dogtown Pizza just jumped up in class. So real classy.
I do think that the lake is actually beautiful. I love waking up and seeing water. I don't know what it is. It soothes me. It makes me happy. There's just something about it. But now there's a list of the world's most attractive cities. And do you want to take any guesses on number one, or have you already looked at it?
I haven't looked at it. This is United States or this is the world?
World.
Because I think in the U.S., I think Chicago's a pretty
I do
good
too.
looking city.
It's not in the top 10.
And it's on the water.
There is only one U.S. city in the top 10.
New York is great. It's on the water. But once you actually get inside it, it is a little dirty.
Gritty.
Yeah, it's
Gritty. It's
gritty.
number
Thank
3.
you. It is?
The
And
top 2 spots
prettiest?
go to Japan.
Oh.
Osaka,
Tokyo?
No.
Wow.
Osaka, Japan, and Kyoto.
Oh, Kyoto.
Yeah, both. That's 1 and 2. Kelly Jackson made that trip earlier this year, and she said it was stunning and
She
so
went to
clean.
Kyoto?
She went to Japan. I don't remember exactly where she went, but
Yeah.
said it was absolutely stunning and loved it. But also, Seoul, Korea, South Korea is number 4. Paris, number 5.
Oh, yeah, Paris.
London, 6. Rome, please. Then you got Japan again. Then you got Thailand, Bangkok to be specific, and then Dubai, which looks amazing.
Yeah, but you get 5 miles outside of Dubai.
But we're talking
and
about
it's
cities. We're not
sand.
talking about. We're
Yeah.
talking about cities and what
We're
that
not
looks like.
talking about 5 miles outside the
No,
city.
we are talking
Okay.
about the city.
All right, that's fair enough. New York was the only U.S. city
Only-
that made the list. I
Yep.
think Vancouver looks like a very pretty city.
That's not in the U.S.
Not in the U.S.
I know, but
Oh,
I'm just
I
saying.
didn't-
Just saying, they're U.S. adjacent. They're
Okay.
close.
Yeah, sure.
Seattle, if
Yeah,
it didn't rain
Seattle's-
so
So
much.
you just really love the Pacific Northwest.
Well, they got nice. They're newer.
Portland. Let's just
Portland,
do all of them.
Portland's-
Yeah, I'm gonna
Talk about
Seattle's
Okay.
pretty cool.
grungy, crunchy.
I was Seattle, where grunge started.
Yeah.
in that area,
A
right?
little crunchier. All right. Most beautiful cities you've ever been to, 84126, U.S. and otherwise. We did go to Rome. That's where we ended up flying out
I'm gonna
of
say
on our
Prague was gorgeous.
honeymoon. Oh, man. Bucket list.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Lisbon, Portugal.
My nephew went over spring break and
Really?
loved it.
It's kind of like miniature San Francisco.
Mhm.
San Francisco looks like a pretty city, but again, it's a little dirty once you get inside of it. But Rome was great. Old.
Yeah, I'd take it.
Their river. I know we got to go to a break.
hmm
Everybody faces their river and they incorporate their river.
Amsterdam was amazing. Speaking of,
Rome's river is the grossest thing you'll ever see. There's like shopping carts floating in it, old boats that they've never cleaned up.
Yeah.
They need to really talk to Chicago and figure out how Chicago revitalized their riverfront. Have you been to Chicago recently with all the restaurants down there?
Uh-huh.
Really cool. Rome needs to take a tip from Chicago.
Cancer. We need a cure.
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 That's why the St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer and the Big 550 KTRS are teaming up to help fight cancer with the 16th annual KTRS Radiothon. Now, through our Radiothon on August 20th, Just go to KTRS.com and look for the KTRS Radiothon banner for details.
All day long, we'll be helping raise funds to find a cure and help treat cancer victims and their families. All money raised stays right here in St. Louis.
You can help and be entered for a chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime Indy 500 experience. Just go to KTRS.com and look for the KTRS Radiothon banner for details. The first 100 people to donate $200 will receive 2 entries for a chance to win a trip to the 111th running of the Indianapolis 500. The trip includes a 2-night stay in Indianapolis and 2 start-finish line tickets to the 2027 Indy 500 on May 30th, 2027.
Plus, you'll also receive 4 St. Louis Cardinals tickets to the September 15th game versus the San Francisco Giants, 2 tickets to a Blues preseason game, and 2 tickets to City 2's game at Energizer Park on September 20th.
All for your $200 tax-deductible donation to St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer KTRS Radiothon. The 16th annual KTRS Radiothon is the service of the Big 550 KTRS Cares and presented by
Brown & Brown Attorneys at Law, Schnarr's Hardware, Allen Roofing, Inland Marine, SSM Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, Mama's on the Hill, TR Hughes Homes, Spectrum Eyeglass Repair, and Royal Banks of Missouri.
Repairing chimneys, walkways, porches, foundations, entire homes, anything to do with brick or stone, you need a tuck pointer you can trust. And that, of course, is Morelli. Morelli is a family-run business started in 1991, and they're only as good as their last customer. That's why when you check out the reviews online at MorelliTuckPointing.com, you'll notice that they're actual customers who are singing the praises of Morelli. So if you need a tuck pointer, you need Morelli. 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
My college roommate said to me recently, everyone needs a good electrician on speed dial. And you know what? He's right. Ever since Michael Baldy has started advertising on the show, you know what? He's been out to the house 4, 5, 6 different times to fix all sorts of things. Good thing I got Michael Baldy on speed dial because those things are a hazard. And it's one thing, you know how much I like to pretend to think that I'm a home improvement guy. I'll mess with plumbing and I'll mess with woodworking, but there's something I won't mess with, and that's electricity. It's too dangerous. It's too confusing, quite frankly. I know how to plug in a light bulb, but after that, it's BaldyElectric.com. So for all of your electrical needs, residential, commercial, indoor, outdoor, TVs, computers, technology, BaldyElectric.com. It's the place to go. You need a good electrician on speed dial. That's Michael Baldy, or BaldyElectric.com.
Dowd Bennett is proud to support the local fight against cancer. They are a proud sponsor of the 16th annual Radiothon to support the St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer, a St. Louis Community Cancer Resource Center, and the only organization that brings the entire local cancer community together. Dowd Bennett also supports the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation, whose mission is to save lives by meeting the most critical needs of our communities and investing in breakthrough research to prevent and cure breast cancer.
Let's talk a little entertainment news. Gayle King issued a pretty scathing response to Hayden Panettiere's estranged mom, Leslie. So she finally made a statement on the actress's tragic death. The CBS Mornings co-host read Vogel's words, which referred to Hayden as an amazing and talented woman on the wrong path. This was during this morning show, and she goes, you know, guys, you read this, and all I can think is, thanks, Mom, for nothing. Gayle said on air, which I was
wow,
kind of surprised by.
So you guys have been talking about this for the last
awful.
couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Really terrible story.
It is.
Do they? I don't even think we need any more information.
No,
we
know.
know
The only thing is, the boyfriend had been charged with assaulting her before he was there. I think that's the only thing that they're kind of looking into. But then I did also read that police did a wellness check on him either yesterday or so. Who knows? It's just an awful story all around.
She came out with the book recently
Mm-hmm.
and said that the daughter was living in Europe with her ex-husband.
And she explained that it was her mental health. It was not easy to kind of hand her over. She still had a great relationship with her. She didn't think she could be a great mom.
Terrible postpartum, which
Mhm.
is such a thing. And everybody needs to ask for help.
Absolutely.
There's no shame in that. So just a really sad story.
Mhm. It really is. Sandra Bullock is finally opening up about her partner, Brian Randall's death, explaining why she kept the details of his ALS diagnosis to herself. She appeared on the Smartless podcast, and she said that his medical issues, he wanted to keep a secret. And she said she understands his reasoning, but it also admitted that his request left her pretty isolated in the process of dealing with everything. Which, again, hopefully she had a friend or two that she could turn to, but still, that would be kind of rough keeping that secret. How about this? Tom Holland will likely make more than $100 million for Spider-Man Brand New Day, thanks to a $20 million salary and his cut of the profits.
Really? He got points?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess this is the fourth standalone movie and probably his third Marvel, Avengers movie that he's been in.
I'm going to say his agent did a fine job.
And they're killing at the box office.
Mhm.
So
Breaking records left and right.
you think he's a kid, but no, he's a savvy businessman.
Somebody in his circle is. The children of Robin Williams have reactivated his Instagram account to fight back against rampant AI abuse of his voice and likeness.
Yeah. This is the tip of the iceberg here.
It really is. The 2026 MTV Video Music Award nominees were announced yesterday. Madonna leads with 11 nominations. Taylor Swift follows with 9 nominations. Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter are tied with 7 each. On the country side, Ella Langley, Shabuzi, Stella Leftley lead the country artist nominees with 2 each. Morgan Wallen was also nominated for Artist of the Year. That's all kind of fan voting, but the award show will air September 27th on CBS, MTV, and Paramount Plus.
I hate to admit it. I don't know any of the people in music right now. I mean, Madonna. Shabuzi.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just fun to watch.
They are fun to watch, and it's always water cooler talk the next day because something happens that everyone is talking about.
I don't know anything about country music, but those CMAs are always fun to watch.
It's a concert for most of those. There's less awards, there's more performances.
It's a variety show.
Exactly.
And aren't they up for variety Emmys?
Yeah.
Like, don't they have the award for best award show?
Mm-hmm. It's all in the Oscars or yes.
Is the Emmys included? Can the Emmys win an Emmy?
Yes. Because it's a different person producing the Emmys than the voting.
Yeah, how about that?
It's very interesting. A couple birthdays, and I'm not going to make you guys guess because you won't get most of these. Leanne Womack, speaking of, I Hope You Dance song. She's 60 today. John Stamos, want to take a guess on that one?
John Stamos is 62.
63. Gerald McRaney, who, of course, was Major Dad. He had reoccurring roles on House of Cards. This Is Us.
Gosh. Is it weird that when I think of Major Dad, I think of who's the guy that was in 9 to 5? Dabney Coleman.
Oh, yeah.
Does Major Dad look like Dabney Coleman? No?
Not at all.
Good.
He's 79. And former President Bill Clinton is the big 8-0 today. This one's sad, though, to end on. Matthew Perry would have been 57 today. I didn't realize he was that much younger than, because I think Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston are a couple years older. Anyway, that is your evening entertainment report here on the Big 550 KTRS.
I just pulled up a picture of Major Dad.
That's not, okay.
You don't think this looks like Dabney Coleman?
I have never seen that picture. That is not where Gerald McRaney typically looks like.
What he looks like?
That is a casting photo of him in character. I'm going to show
With
you
the hat
real,
and the Navy uniform and
not
everything.
the same.
Oh, Major Dad was a Marine.
This is what he looks like.
Oh, that doesn't look like Dabney Coleman at all.
No. All right. 8 minutes before 6
Hey,
o'clock.
Captain, did you know that Major Dad was in the Marines?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I didn't either.
He was a major.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, boy. How's traffic?
64 West is slow from Kings Highway to Clayton Skinker and between Prospect and I-70. 64 East slows down from 170 to Big Bend. And in Illinois, 64 West is jammed between 159 and 255. That's where the closure of 64 West starts, and it extends to 15th Street in East St. Louis. This traffic report is brought to you by Stages St. Louis. Get your single tickets now for Stages St. Louis. Take a trip back to the 40s and 50s with Guys and Dolls, which runs through August 23rd. Stages will wrap up this year with the incredible true story of Come From Away. Call 314-821-2407 or visit stagesstlouis.org. From the John Beal Roofing Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
And in grand fashion, we kick off this year, 2026, St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer Radiothon, the Big 550 KTRS Ultimate Sports Package auction, which was started on the McGraw Show and ended on McGraw's show.
Basically.
A big whale came in and bid $3,000 and won the 2 tickets to the BMW Championship, which, Heidi, are you going?
I don't have tickets yet, but you
don't
never know.
Mizzou basketball, the Blues, the City, the Billikens, the Battlehawks, the Cardinals won all the tickets and the dinner with Captain Paul and company, McGraw, Rose, and Carl. The winning bidder was Chad at $3,000, and he's going to dinner and he's going to all these sporting games. So we officially have kicked off the Big 550 St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer 2026 Radio Telethon, the Radiothon, which will in earnest start tomorrow morning on McGraw Show, and you can listen to all of our auction items here. The Dogtown Pizza for a year, the brunch with Heidi,
and Kelly and Jennifer.
And
Not
Jennifer.
just me. That would be boring.
and Bob's Billiken auction item. Those will all be tomorrow on the Big 550 3 to 6 Heidi Show. So tune in for the Radiothon tomorrow.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. The one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work.
And you want to start to lose weight? None better than to call STLMedWeightLoss.com and ask Dr. Joe. STLMedWeightLoss.com.
It's Julie Buck, and I wanted to pop on here just to give my friends at Rankin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital some love. You know, healing goes beyond medicine. The hospital is built on a simple but powerful philosophy. Play helps children heal. Through their care beyond the bedside model, kids are encouraged to leave their hospital rooms, play, explore, and simply be kids while they recover. To support Rankin Jordan's work, donate at rankinjordanfoundation.org and join us for the Beyond Gala on September 26th.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
Lionel Richie, live in concert. Playing at the Muni, Saturday, August 29th. Get tickets now at MetroTix.com.
All right, let's wrap this up with one random.
All right, I got really good ones, but I'll just give you this one. The UK had a ban on nunchucks in movies until 1999. They even cut a scene from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Why?
That showed one of the turtles using a string of sausages like nunchucks.
Why?
I think because they don't want people going out and buying nunchucks. You know, like Chinese stars are illegal.
Yes.
You know, because they're.
I don't think anybody knows how to actually use them, though.
Oh, well, you knock yourself out.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe that's it. You guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully you'll join us for our radiothon to raise some money for St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer. It starts at 6 a.m. We'll see you at 3. And until then, see if you can put a smile on somebody's face.
Are you looking for a deck? I am. And you know who I turn to? Outdoor Living and Pat Leahy. They've been a sponsor for a long time, and they've done some other